The story of Technicals, the most polarizing creator in the Smash community, has captivated the attention of many. Known for his videos exposing hypocrisy and wrongdoing within the community, Technicals has been gaining an increasingly large following with his investigative and entertaining content. He's further cemented his notoriety by successfully clearing the names of several prominent creators who were previously thought to be beyond redemption. However, his decision to reopen the cases of former professional Smash players Zero and Nairo, both accused of sexual misconduct in 2020, has led to massive amounts of controversy and division within the community over the past few years. Nairo, who had previously confessed to the allegations levied against him by former player Captain Zack, later retracted his confession and claimed to be a victim of blackmail and rape. Technical's defense of Zero and questioning of Nairo's innocence has sparked heated public debates and accusations from other creators. As a result, Technicals has continually found himself embroiled in controversy and drama, ultimately splitting the community in half. In this documentary, we will delve into the journey of Technicals as a content creator, the impact he has had on the Smash and commentary communities, and how he managed to take these communities by storm, all before reaching 100,000 subscribers. Sit tight, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the ride, because this video is going to be a good one. I am Kusari, and this is how Technicals broke the Smash community. Brandon, who is more commonly known as Technicals, has been a huge fan of Super Smash Bros. Since his childhood. He and his twin brother were active members of the competitive Smash scene in Las Vegas, which fueled his passion for the game. As early as late 2015, Technicals began creating character guides for Toon Link in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and uploaded them to his YouTube channel under the tag FaZe Link. Over time, he changed his username multiple times until he eventually settled on the name Technicals. These early videos showcased his content creation journey and his involvement in the local Smash community, which would become a recurring theme in his content. However, it wasn't until August 18th, 2018 that Technicals uploaded the first video in his Tech Talk series. The Tech Talk series showcased Technicals' transition from gameplay tutorials to a unique and structured commentary style, similar to that of iDubbbz at his peak. In the first Tech Talks video, he tackled the controversy surrounding a Smash 4 community member named JK. Technicals criticized JK's lack of remorse and apparent lack of change after he was suspended from the community and still wanted to participate in the upcoming ShineCon tournament. Tech infused his commentary with humor and sarcasm, which would become a trademark of his later videos. He also briefly advertised for Grammarly, a writing assistant tool which demonstrated his early understanding of monetization opportunities on the platform. His following Tech Talks episode, What is Toxic, was what truly garnered his first bit of significant attention on YouTube. In this episode, he defined the term toxic and highlighted how it had lost its original meaning within the Smash community. Technicals provided examples of toxicity within the community, including an incident at Hyrule Saga where the crowd chanted "fuck Bayo" during Void and Captain Zack's tournament set. He then shared his Twitter friends and mutuals' experiences with the Smash community and discussed what toxic meant to them. Technicals concluded that toxic was used to describe behaviors that spread unnecessary hate just for the sake of it. This Tech Talk episode was not only informative but also well crafted, showcasing his ability to communicate complex ideas in a digestible and entertaining manner. Despite the moderate views and few likes that Technicals' videos received in the early days of his YouTube channel, What is Toxic garnered over 30,000 views and a 97% like ratio, leading people to take notice of Technicals and his content. He continued to upload videos of decent quality but nothing exceptional until he decided to call out one of the biggest names in the Smash community, Esam. On October 5th, 2018, Technicals debuted his new series called Detective Tech, which aimed to investigate the content, opinions, and conduct of other YouTubers and professional Smash players. The first episode targeted Eric Liu, also known as Esam, a well-regarded player from Orlando, Florida, who is famous for his top-level skills in playing Pikachu in multiple iterations of Smash. Technicals criticized Esam's opinions, which he believed were often contrarian for the sake of being contrarian, and came across as obnoxious. He also took issue with Games Over Easy, a now defunct Let's Play channel that Esam had run with fellow smasher MVD, criticizing the high frequency of daily uploads in comparison to the apparent laziness of the content itself. The video was well received by Technical's audience, becoming his first video to receive over 100,000 views. Following Detective Tech, Technicals introduced a new series called Tea Time, which he described as a new form of Tech Talks. The first episode tackled the controversy surrounding Bayonetta mains in the Smash 4 community, delving into the hate that these players received due to the characters' perceived broken mechanics. He suggested that players should ignore the trolls and focus on improving their skills instead. Shortly after the release of the first Tea Time episode, Technicals announced that he had been invited to participate in the Smash Tuber Invitational Tournament. This community-organized invitational event featured over 20 prominent YouTubers from the Smash scene battling it out in a tournament. Despite having only a little over 700 subscribers at the time, Technicals competed in the tournament, placing 17th out of 27 participants. He also demonstrated his passion for the game by being ranked among the top 10 best Wii U players in Las Vegas for periods of time in 2017 and 2018. One thing worth noting is that Tech had a series of intriguing experiences throughout his career as a local Smash player and YouTuber, especially during his earlier days. One incident in particular stands out. It involves JK, who is the main focus of Technical's Tech Talk series debut episode. Back in 2017, when Tech was a ranked player in Vegas, JK allegedly attempted to run him and his fellow Smashers over with his car. Tech and his friends had just finished a local tournament and declined JK's invitation to go out to dinner with him together. As they were walking into the parking lot, JK allegedly tried to ram his vehicle into them. Fortunately, two of the people in Tech's group narrowly avoided getting hit. Directly after the incident, the group confronted JK, who admitted to deliberately trying to hit them and expressed a lack of concern if anyone died or suffered significant injuries. After the incident, JK was banned from most tournaments in Las Vegas, and the following day he issued an apology citing his mental illnesses as a possible factor behind his actions. Tournament organizer Sean Laz investigated the situation and concluded that JK's apology was insufficient, resulting in an indefinite ban from Las Vegas tournaments until he could prove that he was mentally rehabilitated. JK later declared that he was leaving the Smash scene to pursue his passions and seek psychiatric help. However, he rejoined the community but was subsequently banned a second time, leading to the first episode of Tech Talks. Fast forward to January 2019, and Technicals broke his personal record for his most viewed video once again with Thugnicals Rant's sonicfox. The video offers a critique of sonicfox, a professional esports player in the furry fandom, for two significant controversies. The first controversy centered on sonicfox's acceptance speech at the Game Awards 2018, in which he made a joke about right-wing conservatives and highlighted his sexuality and membership of the LGBTQ community. This sparked criticism from some Twitter users who felt that sonicfox was using his sexuality too excessively.
Not only is this likely the cringiest acceptance speech of all time, it's probably gotten the most backlash out of any acceptance speech for the community on behalf of the person receiving the award. How do you get a ton of backlash for receiving an award? I don't fucking know, but sonicfox does, so let's take a quick look at that. Everything was perfectly fine. That video, it's a joke. Like, even if you're right-wing conservative, it's clearly a little jab at them. I mean, politics, no one's really fucking talking politics anyways. You're at a fucking Game Awards. It's like being at E3 and then talking about Trump invading the game industry. Like, no, fucking stop, please. Can we just get Red Dead 3, everybody? Yes. Applause, yes, Red Dead 3. That's a popular game, right?
The second controversy addressed in Tech's video was sonicfox's response to criticism on his personal Twitter account, where he threw an online temper tantrum and responded immaturely with insults to people who criticized him. In his video, Technicals would go after sonicfox for not only bringing identity politics into the gaming community, but also being a poor debater when it came to his side of the controversy.
No one's trying to oppress you, sonicfox, by saying that you need to, slow your roll on saying I'm gay all the time. It's fine to say that, we get that. You're, very proud of who you are, and if you are gay and you want to scream it out loud because you've been oppressed, that's great. The fact that just because you make at least one person or a couple people feel comfortable coming out because of how hard you hit this radical progressive ideology that you're going with, does not exactly mean that you're objectively correct in the methods or tactics that you're using while promoting your diversity and positivity. It seems like your diversity and positivity only counts towards people that agree with you and people that are on your side. If you don't like Republicans, well, you just alienated all Republicans. If you don't like straight white men, well, you're not being accepting to straight white men. They have feelings too, right? They have a right to feel wanted and needed in a community. To try and annex them because they don't agree with your pretty radical ideology, that's fucked up, dude.
At this point, the Technicals channel had been growing at an already impressive rate, and in February of 2019, it finally hit a significant milestone: 1,000 subscribers. To celebrate this achievement, Technicals posted a special video for his community called The Life of a Risu. The video was a deep dive into the controversies and hypocrisies surrounding Alyssa Bwecker, known as Risu, a former amateur movie director who had gained popularity as a Twitter e-girl and OnlyFans/Patreon creator. Risu was also known for being a brand ambassador for Smash Sisters, an initiative founded in 2016 for Genesis 3 that included a series of female-only crew battles and tournaments. While the movement was advertised as only for women, it was not an outright feminist movement and has been criticized for not encouraging women to play with men in classic tournaments. In The Life of a Risu, Technicals criticized Risu for numerous things, including her pride in engaging in sexual activities with top Smash players to boost attendance at events, her financial instability despite holding a college degree, her seemingly radical feminist beliefs, her inability to take jokes and criticism, her constant playing of the victim card on Twitter, and her attempts to unjustly cancel others. Tech also spent a section of the video addressing her comments and criticisms about him. The video was very well received, breaking Tech's view record once again with over 200k views and garnering hundreds of positive comments, with a majority agreeing with Technical's criticisms. After the success of his video, Technical's critical analysis of Risu's actions and beliefs further solidified his position as a reliable source for information about Risu's past controversies. His video gained significant traction and was frequently discussed on Twitter, earning him a reputation as a reputable commentator on the subject. Risu eventually responded to Technical's video, sparking even more drama. However, Technicals was not one to back down and responded with a fiery rebuttal that seemed to put an end to it. On March 8th, Technicals released a video entitled Risu's Response, in which he directly challenged Risu's credibility as a moral authority within the community. In the video, Technicals called into question Risu's financial struggles and her decision to beg for money online. He also criticized her for accepting funding from people whose moral standing she found objectionable, suggesting that she was hypocritical. Technicals went on to question Risu's decision to abandon a career in the entertainment industry to pursue one on Patreon, further weakening her credibility. But Technicals wasn't finished yet. He then revealed that he had become a patron of Risu's, but not out of support. Instead, he did it to challenge her stance on superior morality, questioning whether or not she would accept his patronage despite him and his content going against everything she stood for.
I think this pretty much sums up anything that I had to say about Risu. Risu, you are a terrible human being, and I genuinely want nothing to do with you after this. Taking the money really solidified to me that your ideology doesn't mean much to you, because you're pretty much just some poor e-beggar that's whoring herself out in every sense of the word imaginable to the Smash community, while also marketing yourself as a victim and attacking people non-stop on every platform of social media available, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, like we saw with St. Louis. Honestly, the negligence in your research and how you try to pin people and use these really radical tactics to have them harassed because you demonize them, and by demonizing someone you effectively forfeit their right to respect or debate. I think that's awful. I think I would never do that to you. I didn't even do that to JK. JK threatened to shoot people, and I didn't even go so far as calling him a racist, a misogynist, an ableist, none of those words, because guess what? It's not fucking relevant, and it's not even a part of the discussion. That's all I have to say about Risu, guys. Go ahead and remember this. Remember this. Anytime that Risu or a woman in the community tries to attack someone, remember that one of their major advocates for sexual harassment, blah blah blah, can easily be shut up with one of the most basic tactics with corrupt politicians, and that is money. E-beggar first, feminist second.
Technicals continued to put out regular content about the Smash community and its creators. However, he soon found his next big video target, the one and only lowtiergod. So, who is lowtiergod? Lowtiergod is the alias of Dale Wilson, aka Dalawan Sparrow, who is a prominent figure in the fighting game community. He is a gamer, streamer, and online personality famous for his gameplay in Street Fighter and other fighting games. Lowtiergod's presence in the FGC is notorious due to his online rage quits and live streams. He has gained notoriety in the community for his upfront and often toxic behavior towards his opponents, which has led to many of his social media accounts getting suspended or banned. On YouTube, several compilation videos showcase his violent rage quits and salty moments, highlighting his infamous reputation. Despite his controversial behavior, he has a considerable following due to his no sugarcoating attitude. However, lowtiergod has also made ableist and transphobic remarks against his online opponents, which has led to widespread criticism from the FGC community. In May 2019, Technicals uploaded a video titled "How to Catch a Lowtiergod." The video, which is almost 30 minutes long, explores the idea that some people think lowtiergod's behavior is all an act. Technicals, however, found it hard to believe that someone could keep up such behavior for over 6 years. He explained that lowtiergod is infamous for being a rager, making fun of the disabled, and losing to inferior players. Tech noted that lowtiergod has admitted to being a rager since childhood and is not simply acting for the cameras despite claims that he does. Although the video is not a serious call-out, Technicals poked fun at lowtiergod, making many jokes about his behavior and featuring skits in which he and his friends attempt to catch him in the act of raging. Several months later, Technicals made a follow-up video titled "How to Roast Lowtiergod." The video is a humorous instructional video on how to effectively roast lowtiergod and his followers. In 2021, lowtiergod called out Technicals on Twitter, accusing him of using other people's names for views. Technicals responded with a screenshot of lowtiergod ironically doing the same thing, with his most recent YouTube uploads at the time being responses to other creators calling him out. The two engaged in a Twitter beef for what felt like ages, until mid-2022 when they unexpectedly became friends. When asked how the two became friends after beefing for several years, Technicals explained that he never disliked lowtiergod as a creator, and that he initially made a video on him to create a funny back and forth with his crazy lore. After becoming a member on his YouTube channel, lowtiergod started saying how he respected Technicals' work in the Smash community, and the two smoothed things out from there. When reflecting on it, the LTG saga was an interesting one, and Technicals' initial uploads about him from this time had proven why he was able to gain an audience in the first place. He was not only funny and unafraid to push the limits of dark humor on his channel, but he also talked about serious issues within the community and analyzed them in a well-structured and entertaining manner. Overall, the lowtiergod saga highlights the importance of responsible behavior online, and Technicals' videos provide a humorous take on the art of roasting and poking fun at internet personalities. Although Technicals was no stranger to controversy, his name would eventually be at the top of discussions about a particular Smash creator once again when he decided he wasn't entirely done calling out esam. Before we delve into the infamous feud between Technicals and esam, we need to rewind a bit and talk about some previous drama that landed Technicals in hot water with pro Smash streamer Dark Wizzy, as well as esam's wife Sleepy Kokiri. In one of Technicals' earliest videos on esam, he included a skit at the beginning that referenced Sleepy Kokiri's Patreon.
Hey Tech, do you know where the vegetable oil is?
Whoa, dude, what the
Wait,
fuck?
what are you doing?
It's in the kitchen.
What the
are
fuck?
you doing in here?
No, what the hell is this?
I'm a patron. I paid for this, man.
No, she's esam's girlfriend. What are you doing?
It was only $1. The fucking.
No, but wait, hold on. Hold on right there.
Look.
That's actually kind of nice though.
I'm saying.
Hold on. Give me a chair. Hold on. Shit. Wait. Almost there. Hey, can we see if MVD has a Patreon?
Oh, hell yeah.
The skit was intended as a joke aimed at esam, and in it, Technicals bought the $1 tier subscription for Kokiri's Patreon and pretended to pleasure himself to her content. In July of 2020, at around the same time that waves of sexual misconduct allegations were hitting the Smash community and its top players, Kokiri claimed that she was being sexually harassed by Technicals and included the clip of his skit in a thread against him, citing how it made her uncomfortable in regards to her Patreon content. At around the same time, Dark Wizzy created a document advocating for the ban of certain individuals from Smash events, including Technicals, for the same skit. Technicals responded with a short episode of his Tech Talk series on Twitter, in which he defended himself and his actions, stating that the skit was intended solely for comedic purposes and was not meant to harass anyone.
In 2018, I uploaded a video titled Detective Tech Esam, and in that video, at the start of the video, I make a reference towards Sleepy Kokiri's Patreon. Essentially, it was a cuck joke for Esam. In that clip, I buy the $1 tier of Kokiri's, and I pretend to fornicate to said pictures. At the time, I assumed that people who sold pictures of them in their underwear kind of understood the market they were advertising for, but I guess I was a little bit presumptuous in making that assumption. She posts a clip of my video in a thread talking about how people make her feel uncomfortable in regards to her content. And then she says,
"Am I crazy for feeling violated by this?"
and I would argue yes. Don't flatter yourself. I'm not actually buying your content and fornicating to it. That wasn't the point of the joke or the sketch. The entire video that you took that segment from was about Esam. You might not think it's funny, but that really doesn't fucking matter, because the point was not to have people go to Kokiri's Patreon and start jerking off, which would probably give her more revenue stream. I was simply making a cuck joke. So I just wanted to clear that up. I find it interesting that she compares getting harassed for selling pictures of her in her underwear for money to getting harassed as a waitress, which in one case, you're actually objectifying yourself and making yourself an object of desire to profit. The other one, you're taking people's orders and giving them food. I don't think you actually feel violated. I think this is a means to an end for you, because I don't fucking like you, and you don't fucking like me. One thing I really have to address is this document from Dark Wizzy. He said, no one is going in this document unless there is extensive evidence to get them banned from all tournaments and any public spaces in the community. And apparently my biggest sin, that's right up there next to molesting children, is making a joke in 2018 that some people didn't find very funny. When have you ever been raped by a video? I'm genuinely asking you. Possibly even qualify as sexual violence. I'm genuinely curious how a sketch, a joke about Esam being a cuck could even get close to being equated to sexual violence. It was that bad that I almost physically molested her through the video. I'm just checking. I don't know why the fuck. But it's okay, guys, don't worry, because Dark Wizzy actually fixed it all up. He added a disclaimer. Very nice of him. Kokiri was in this video without consent for inappropriate things, which still counts as harassment. In that video, I did not endorse any harassment against Kokiri. I simply paid for her Patreon content and then pretended to jerk off to it. She sells sexually suggestive content, and I pretended to masturbate to it. I know, I'm a piece of shit. Just fucking cuff me now, dude. Cuff me now. We all know you're not going to cancel me, and obviously I'm not going to cancel you, because you have me blocked, and we were cool before, like chatting on Twitter, until somehow you cut off because you got indoctrinated or whatever. You have nothing but people that agree with you, so you can avoid getting your feelings hurt more frequently. Me, on the other hand, I could give less of a fuck, and a lot of other people feel the same way. So you're not really going to have much of an impact here. If anything, you're signal boosting my content. Because while I'm going to continue to get messages like this of people who are now finding my channel and subscribing because they enjoy my viewpoint and content, you are actually contributing to not only false allegations, you're derailing really important shit for no fucking reason. If you want to call me out, there's plenty of valid things you can do, and we could try to have this conversation. I don't know if it's because you're emotionally unstable right now, but I don't see why you would put a sketch that a lot of people don't think is funny because Kokiri wants to play the victim right now, but you're kind of putting all of that on me when she's getting backlash for having really, really stupid fucking opinions. So yeah, that's all I really had to say. Take my fucking name out of that document with all of your pedophile friends, and I think we'll be good.
Technical's response also included a screenshot of Kokiri's reply to an anonymous CuriaCat user who asked if she was uncomfortable with people pleasuring themselves to her content. She replied, "I sell lewds, this doesn't really come as a shock to me, LMAO." Tech argued that if Kokiri wasn't genuinely offended by people pleasuring themselves to her content, she had no reason to be offended by someone joking around pretending to do the same thing. Despite his defense, Technical's reputation took a hit when he was included in the same ban list as players and content creators accused of much more serious sexual misconduct crimes. Technicals argued that it wasn't fair for him to be grouped in with these individuals for making an obvious joke, but it seemed that people didn't care. The intensity surrounding Technical's reputation attention would reach a new high nearly 2 weeks after this incident when he uploaded Esam, the biggest hypocrite in the Smash community. This is the video that marked a turning point for Technicals, propelling him to infamy in the Smash community and exposing the contradictions in Esam's legacy as a professional esports player and content creator. Technicals' video, which lasted around 23 minutes, centered around one key issue: Esam's hypocrisy. The video sheds light on a series of hypocritical statements and actions made by Esam in the past, a fact that had gone largely unnoticed for years until Technicals decided to make it the focal point of his video. The video, posted on July 16, 2020, highlights some of the instances where Esam's hypocrisy was most evident. Among these was Esam's use of racial slurs on websites such as Smashboards and in livestream clips between 2012 to 2014. One of the most memorable comments made by Esam from this time period was when he jokingly called fellow streamer Nakat the N-word and F-slur on stream before telling him to go boxing ring when selecting a stage for the two to play on.
Nigga, go boxing ring, faggot. 48, nigga, 3. Like, nigga, why am I fighting Ike?
Fighting what?
Oh, that still blows up.
Oh, I just wanted it so bad.
I will gladly charge shot for you getting your little nigga out.
This is really stressful to watch.
To watch, nigga.
This became a meme in the community, largely due to Technical's video bringing these once forgotten clips to light. What made the situation even more hypocritical, however, was Esam's response to others who had made similar mistakes. For example, Bachi, who was 15 at the time and a literal teenager, got into trouble for using slurs, while Esam, who was 22 and a grown adult, had successfully managed to cover himself up for doing the exact same things. Esam also notably called for people to harass a young Smash player known as Kiarash over a screenshot of someone impersonating him to say multiple slurs, not knowing it wasn't actually him. In the past, he had done the same thing to Smashers FOW and MJG when false allegations were made about them as well. After the Kiarash incident, Esam made a tweet criticizing other Smash players for supporting cancel culture and trying to actively harm someone's image despite his previous actions. Another incident that was brought up was when Esam made false claims about Mewtwo King in 2011. In a shocking move, Esam decided to come out against Mewtwo King and alleged that he should be banned from the competitive scene based on a false rumor. In response to the backlash from Technical's video calling him out, Esam eventually made a video titled Accountability, apologizing for his actions. He also made a Twitter thread apologizing to MJG and FOW for promoting false claims about them. However, Esam's apology was met with criticism, as he also mentioned that he will keep believing every victim who makes a story and shares it, essentially showing that he had learned nothing. With this video, Technicals not only exposed the hypocrisy of one of the biggest names in the Smash community, but also made a name for himself as a fearless commentator who was not afraid to call out even the most prominent players for their wrongdoing. It marked a turning point in his career and propelled him into the spotlight, cementing his place as one of the most relevant voices in the Smash community at the time despite his channel size, whether people liked it or not. In a move that would take the Smash community by storm, Technicals didn't back down from his feud with Esam. Instead, he took it up a notch by challenging him to a legally sanctioned boxing match. He rallied his fans to support him by tweeting out the hashtag #EsamGoBoxingRing. The video, as expected, was a huge success, receiving an overwhelming amount of attention and becoming the most viewed video on the Technicals channel, with over 715,000 views to date. It was a moment that Technicals fans and critics alike could agree on. Esam needed to take responsibility for his behavior. In a follow-up video to the situation, Technicals would react to Esam's apology. The video titled "Esam Finally Apologized" would show Technicals' response to Esam admitting to using racial slurs and bigoted language casually in the past and apologizing for it. Fully aware of the facade he was putting up, Tech pointed out some of the problematic statements made in the video and the fact that Esam clearly only apologized because his career was at risk. Tech's video also talked about the importance of acknowledging one's past mistakes and being transparent about them, something Esam had obviously failed to do properly. After the Esam situation, Technicals experienced a significant milestone in his YouTube career as he hit 15,000 subscribers on the platform just a few months later. In celebration of this achievement, he uploaded a video on September 13th where he read out hate comments directed towards him on Twitter and hosted a Discord talent show for his fans. The video was meant to include a skit where he would cover himself entirely in peanut butter, but unfortunately the camera malfunctioned during recording and he didn't want to redo it, making the skit lost media. Technical's growth during this time marked a period of more laid-back commentary videos, which appeared to indicate a break from creating content solely focused on the Smash community. These videos, including the Ultimate Girl Voice tutorial, I Hate Drug Ads, The Internet Ruined Wojaks, and This YouTuber Fakes Kidnappings, were well received, usually garnering around 15 to 30k views per video, with a few occasional uploads earning up to 90k views. But what would happen next would change everything for Technicals and his channel, as well as the entire Smash community as a whole. But before talking about this, I feel it is most important to first go over a timeline of some important events that occurred in the Smash community in July of 2020. In July of 2020, shocking allegations of sexual misconduct emerged in the Super Smash Bros. Community, affecting more than 125 members of the scene. Many of the game's most famous professional players, commentators, tournament organizers, and content creators were accused of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and sexual abuse of minors. The news quickly spread across the internet, with the wider esports community and mainstream media outlets expressing outrage and calling for accountability. Nintendo also weighed in, condemning the alleged behavior. The response was swift, with many of the accused players receiving bans from tournaments and being isolated and removed from the community. A conversation was sparked about preventing further misconduct at Smash events. However, more details came to light, and it became apparent that some of the allegations were partially or entirely fabricated, reigniting a long-standing discussion about the wider issues within the Smash community. Against this backdrop, a high-level Smash player named Captain Zack found himself at the center of it all. Once known as the best Bayonetta player in the world, he was ranked 32nd on the Spring 2019 PGR, the official global ranking of the top Ultimate players worldwide. He was also ranked 15th on the PGR of the 100 best all-time Wii U players. In August of 2019, allegations emerged on Twitter that Captain Zack had pressured another top player named Ally into dating him and blackmailed him into losing games. Zack confirmed these rumors in a tweet longer, revealing more information about their relationship. He admitted that he forced Ally to purposefully lose games in hopes that Ally would leave him and become increasingly upset as Ally continued to succeed. As a result of the controversy, Captain Zack was dropped by his team Polar Ace and banned from competing at Super Smash Con 2019. Although he was allowed to attend as a spectator, he was banned from all tournaments organized by 2G Gaming on August 5th, as they had organized multiple tournaments in which he admitted to manipulating brackets. In January 2020, the Super Smash Bros. Conduct Panel recommended an indefinite ban for Captain Zack, with the possibility of appealing after 5 years. However, this decision caused significant backlash from players, with the conduct panel releasing a statement defending their decision without going into the details of the ruling. The panel later made another statement, explaining that they could not provide any more information as it involved private details. Smash event organization company VG Bootcamp then announced that they would ignore the conduct panel's ruling and impose a 1-year ban on Captain Zack, a decision that was also met with controversy from those who had access to the private information. On July 1st, 2020, rumors began to circulate within the Super Smash Bros. Community that top player Nairo and Captain Zack had engaged in a sexual encounter while the community was embroiled in the wave of sexual misconduct allegations. Both players initially dismissed the rumors, with Captain Zack claiming that he fabricated the story to impress his friends. However, the following day, Captain Zack released a tweet longer confirming the rumors and revealing that he was paid by Nairo to remain silent about the incident, which allegedly occurred when Zack was 15 and Nairo was 20. After the allegations surfaced, Nairo deactivated his Twitter account, and his brother K-Sizzle confirmed that he was done. Eventually, Nairo reactivated his account and issued a public apology, announcing that he would no longer be active on social media. Although he deleted his social media accounts, he created a protected dummy account with his original Twitter username. The allegations against Nairo triggered a significant backlash from people who had previously looked up to him, many of whom were disappointed by his actions. On the morning of July 2nd, NRG, Nairo's long-standing team, dropped him, and the 2G Gaming panel banned him from all future events, along with several others accused of sexual misconduct during that time. Twitch also banned and unpartnered Nairo on September 10th. On September 14th, 2020, Tamim, formerly known as Mistake, published a tweet longer that challenged Captain Zack's allegations against Nairo. Tamim claimed that Captain Zack had manipulated the twit longer to suggest that Nairo had initiated the first sexual contact, when in reality Nairo was allegedly asleep at the time. Tamim had also noted that Captain Zack had twisted the wording to make it look as though Nairo had paid Zack hush money when it was supposedly the other way around. Tamim described Captain Zack as a very sneaky and devious person who had attempted to seduce and manipulate several other adults besides Ally and Nairo. Tamim added that Captain Zack was not worried about the consequences of his relationship with Ally because he was a minor. 2 days later, Captain Zack confirmed some of the things mentioned in Tamim's tweet longer, including asking Nairo for money and using the minor excuse. Tamim also revealed that Captain Zack no longer planned to be a part of the community. However, Captain Zack continued to attend Louisiana locals until he was eventually banned. Matty G, another prominent smasher in the community, was also at the center of the scandal when it was revealed that he was in a relationship with the underage Captain Zack while he was in his early 20s. The relationship, which occurred in 2017, was described as abusive by both parties involved. When Captain Zack first came forward with allegations against Nairo, evidence suggested that another professional player, Salem, had encouraged Zack's sexual encounters with him. Although Salem's name was initially obscured, evidence from the conversation only confirmed his identity. Following this revelation, Salem sponsor MVG announced that he would receive professional help in time for self-reassessment before being allowed to rejoin the team. 6 months later, MVG decided to keep Salem on the roster after he demonstrated a commitment to his self-reassessment. The controversy surrounding Nairo and Captain Zack took a dramatic turn when Tamim's tweet longer on September 14th included allegations against Sam Sora, a top Smash competitor who was previously ranked as the #2 ultimate player in the world. Tamim accused Sam Sora of knowing about Zack's relationships with Ally and Nairo, but doing nothing about it. According to Tamim, Sam Sora used Nairo to gain more attention and then collaborated with Zack on his tweet longer to reap the benefits of Nairo's downfall. These allegations put basically the entire story into question. Sam Sora responded to Tamim's accusations and denied all of them. He claimed that he didn't believe the Zack and Nairo situation until Nairo told him in 2019. Nairo had asked Sam Sora and Zack to lie about the situation, stating that it would ruin his life if it ever got out. Sam Sora didn't want to, but he decided to go along because Zack complied. However, by July 2020, Zack no longer wanted to continue with the lie, and Sam Sora convinced him to come out with the information. Sam Sora apologized for not speaking out sooner about the situations with Zack regarding both Ally and Nairo. Nairo then released a detailed statement on October 28th, refuting Captain Zack's side of the story. Nairo claimed that he had woken up to Zack forcefully performing oral sex on him, that he had briefly froze before pushing Zack off of him, and that Zack had blackmailed him into one other sexual encounter. Nairo also stated that he had an attorney in case Zack continued to push his case and that he was seeking therapy for the trauma caused by Zack. Several other top-level players, commentators, and creators confirmed that they had seen Nairo's alleged 30-page document with evidence for the entire situation. After Nairo's statement in October, Sam Sora made another tweet on the subject on November 8th, stating that he had since distanced himself from both parties as he realized the situation was beyond his control. Sam Sora then posted an official apology for how he handled the situation. Following the allegations against Nairo, many players expressed their disapproval and called for his ban. However, as time went on, some players even began to retract their statements and advocated for lifting the ban. Eventually, Nairo himself uploaded a video on February 19th, 2021, announcing that the situation had been legally resolved and that he was considering a return to streaming.
Hey guys, it's been a long time. I wanted to do an update video on my situation. As many of you know, I've been handling things legally in the last half year, and I want to announce now that we've reached a legal agreement. So I just want you to know that as of now, everything is fully resolved and I am now able to move forward with my life. I did feel at a certain point that I needed to heal away from the place I once called home. Home obviously being the Smash community. So things like I never saw myself competing again. I never saw myself working with teams and sponsors again. And as much as it sucks because I really love doing it, I never saw myself streaming and making content again. But on November 7th, it was my birthday. On the night of November 6th, when it hit midnight, a friend of mine sent me a Discord server invite and told me to join up the voice channel, and when I did, I got immediately bombarded by tons of my old community members. Like, so many naifus just showed up and all wished me a happy birthday. It was a really nice moment, and even afterwards we stayed in the call from midnight until like 6 a.m. in the morning when the sun was up. just trying to give as many people as possible a chance to talk. And many went one by one, telling me stories of how I positively impacted their life and how my streams just helped them during very, very hard days and very, very stressful moments in their life. And just hearing from them again was just really nice, but just hearing their stories as well of how I just made their day-to-day life just better, just by me being me, just really made me just happy. It's really, really happy and very emotional. And even later on in that day, I received this book in the mail, and in this book, there's tons of pictures I've taken with naifus across many tournaments over the past years, and it's a really beautiful book. Anytime I open it up, it does make me smile and make me happy. And with those pictures, there's also tons of messages as well, and positive messages. And like, honestly, like, it shouldn't be a surprise to people that the times where I've been happy recently have been almost non-existent. But that day, on my birthday, it was a really special birthday, and I will never forget it. And it was just incredibly emotional and incredibly heartwarming, and I was just really happy. And after that day, I realized that if I can help just make one more person have a better day, I think it would be worth it to try again. So with that being said, I would like to try to stream again. I would like to try to go back to playing games and having fun with the community that we built, and to try to move forward. But I also know the reality of the situation, and that people will probably be hesitant. I don't know what's going to happen, or how people are even going to react to this, honestly, but I want to try to move forward. Even then, as you guys know, I'm permanently banned on Twitch. I did submit an appeal, but I'm still banned. I did consider Twitch like my stream home. I've been streaming there since the launch of Smash Wii U back in 2014, so if I were to stream again, I would love to be back there again. But we'll have to see where it goes. To wrap up, for everyone who's kept me in their thoughts, seriously, thank you so much. I've gotten a lot of messages and emails the last few months from people wanting to see that I'm still alive, and I understand because many were just so used to seeing me on stream every single day for the past 5 years, and then suddenly couldn't see me anymore. So I just want you to see that I'm still alive and I'm still hanging in there. And even recently, I know my brother received a lot of messages from people wishing they saw my reaction to Sephiroth due to knowing that I'm a really big Final Fantasy VII fan, so I'm thankful that people kept me in their thoughts for that. Currently, I'm still doing a lot of therapy, and I actually want to use this time to thank Paradin, Alpharad, and Fats for helping me with that. They educated me and cleared up some misconceptions around therapy, and honestly, I think everyone should take therapy, if they have access to it, of course. For me personally, I wish I had done it sooner because it's been a big help to me since the very beginning. And I also want to say, thank you to my circle of friends who stuck by me all this time and has tried to make each day brighter for me. I just want to say thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I don't know what happens from here on out. All I know for sure is that I do miss hanging out with my community. I do miss being able to help out various causes and charities. And I wish I could provide for my family again because they relied on me. But that's all I have for now. Anyone that's watching, I hope you guys had safe and enjoyable holidays, and thank you for watching.
After Nairo's statement and various social media movements advocating for his unbanning, tournament organizations 2G Gaming and Collision decided to lift his ban and process his appeal. The Super Smash Bros. Global ban database also removed Nairo's name from their list. However, Twitch has yet to overturn their ban on Nairo, which has prevented him from participating in any possible tournament activity. It's important to note that other Twitch channels could face consequences for featuring someone who is banned from the platform on their streams. Following the public's shift in opinion in favor of Nairo, he began to resume streaming on YouTube. Although Nairo's Twitch ban remains, the decision by tournament organizers and the community as a whole to lift his ban from events indicates that some members of the community were willing to give him a second chance. However, it remains to be seen whether Twitch will follow suit and lift his ban. At the same time, Salem released a lengthy twitlonger in which he shared his side of the story regarding the Captain Zack controversy. In the post, Salem revealed that Zack had shown interest in Nairo, but he didn't think much of it since he believed Nairo was underage. He also claimed that Zack had lied about the relationship and fabricated the entire story. Regarding Ally, Salem stated that he didn't know much about their relationship and only assumed that nothing would come out of it. The controversy surrounding Matty G only intensified when it was discovered through this twitlonger that he had threatened to expose Salem for providing alcohol to the underage Captain Zack if Salem mentioned Matty G in any way related to the ongoing controversies. However, Salem's initial statement was criticized for its grammar mistakes, unrelated anecdotes, and self-promotion of his online Smash coaching services at the end. Due to the negative reception of his initial statement and the bans from several tournament organizers, Salem posted another twitlonger on March 20th, 2021. In this follow-up post, he reiterated that he did not know Nairo's true age, mentioned that he was asked to take down a thread on the situation back in July, and provided more details about Zach's relationships. Despite this, many members of the community remain skeptical of Salem's statements and continue to question his involvement in the situation. As a result of his actions in July, Samsora was banned from attending Smash events indefinitely and was added to the Smash Global Ban database. After the situation with Matty G, he supposedly resolved things privately, however he was still banned indefinitely from all events and his name was discreetly added to the global ban list. Despite the backlash and controversy, Matty G has made it clear that he has no intention of returning to the competitive scene in the future. These allegations of sexual misconduct and abuse have had a devastating impact on the competitive Smash community and continue to be a topic of discussion and scrutiny. Unfortunately, these are just some of the dozens of cases that came to light in July of 2020, making it clear that there were deep-seated issues that desperately needed to be addressed within the Smash community. On March 29th, 2021, Technicals made a return to Smash content with a new video titled The Curious Case of Captain Zack. Departing from his traditional setup, Technicals adopted a new approach featuring a pitch-black background with a desk lamp as the only source of light. The dramatic effect created by the shadows cast across his face and the more cinematic look is reminiscent of a criminal investigation scene from a TV show, setting the tone for the serious subject matter of the video. In The Curious Case of Captain Zack, Technicals explored the Captain Zack case and its aftermath involving Nairo, delving deep into the scandal and raising questions about the future of the Super Smash Bros. Community and its members. Technicals takes an analytical and investigative approach, presenting the facts in a clear and concise manner while maintaining a more mature and refined tone. Though he doesn't shy away from his signature sense of humor, the video conveys a more serious message with less skits and gags and a more clear focus on the topic at hand. Throughout the video, Technicals discusses several issues related to sexual abuse and statutory rape reporting laws, including a research document provided in the description that details the laws in Louisiana, New Jersey, and Florida, which require people who witness sexual abuse cases to report it to law enforcement or child services. Failure to do so can result in fines and imprisonment. With this provided information, the video sheds light on the actions of Samsora, who is aware of the inappropriate and illegal sexual relationships between Ally and Zack, as well as Zack and Nairo. Tech analyzed Samsora's failure to abide by the law of witnesses having to report cases of sexual abuse to law enforcement, as well as his seeming complicity in the Zack and Nairo case.
Samsora was one of Zack's closest friends, and was aware of every scandal from dating a 26-year-old ally to the sexual encounter with Nairo. However, according to Samsora, he would constantly tell him how these relationships with adults were immoral. Probably between bites of popcorn as they all went out to watch Detective Pikachu together. It's acceptable in this community to not report predators, so I'm not even going to ask why this is happening. Instead, I want to divert your attention to all the holes in Samsora's story and see if we can reach a verdict just like we did with Salem. On September 15th, 2020, Samsora would release a twitlonger titled Speaking My Truth, where he'd attempt to make his case for his innocence and defend against the allegations Tamim made the day before. For someone with a 6th grade education, you sure as hell use the words complicit and not pretty liberally. Agreeing to a cover story between you, Nairo, and Zack and covering up a felony for 3 years? Yeah, I definitely call that complicit. Trust me, the moral dilemma you're having between best friends gets a lot simpler once you enter the courthouse. But you already know that, don't you, Samsora? Because thanks to your friend Salem's pathetic excuse for a twitlonger, we now have textual evidence of you trying to cover up any involvement you had in this entire thing. I mean, fuck, Louisiana don't play. If I was gonna be fined $500 and spend 6 months in prison, I'd probably try to hide it too. At the time of recording this, I didn't know that this statute was only for mandatory reporters, which would be people that work in a field with children. There was actually a revision to the law in Louisiana in 2016 that, let me tell ya, makes it a lot fucking worse. Any person who is 18 years of age or older who witnesses the sexual abuse of a child and knowingly and willfully fails to report this sexual abuse to law enforcement or to the Department of Children and Family Services, as required by Children's Code Article 610, shall be fined not more than $10,000, imprisoned with or without hard labor for not more than 5 years, or both. So... you better hope nobody follows up on this shit, god damn!
Technicals noted that Samsora collaborated with Nairo shortly before Discord chat logs were released between Salem and Zach, in which Zach admitted to initiating his alleged encounter with Nairo. Along with this was a tweet from Salem saying happy birthday to Nairo in 2017, effectively proving that Salem's defense that he wasn't aware of Nairo's age was false. In the video, Technicals also criticized how Salem at the time was only banned by just 3 tournament organizers and still had a sponsorship deal, something Tech regarded as typical in the Smash community.
At this point in time, Salem is only banned by 3 tournament organizers and is still with his sponsor MVG. Leave it to Smash players, am I right? While Salem might have a pathetic backstory about abuse and being uneducated thanks to homeschool, seriously, 30 minutes, dude? Get over yourself, everyone has it rough. The sexual nature of his conversations with someone far younger than him, and what can only be described as a possible self-indictment of supplying alcohol to a minor, I believe this is more than enough evidence to conclude that Salem is weird as fuck and should probably not be around kids.
He ultimately came to the consensus that all 3 parties, Zach, Salem, and Samsora, were guilty and should all be banned from the community, especially since the community consisted of many young kids and teenagers. Tech's video was unlike anything he had ever done before, and his fans appreciated the style and presentation. His in-depth analysis provided a thought-provoking commentary on the need for accountability and justice when it came to sexual abuse in the gaming industry. It was a much-needed call to action, and many people praised Technicals for having the courage to speak up about the issue. The comment section was filled with fans and critics alike who were in agreement that the Smash community had failed in its responsibility to hold its members accountable. One particularly insightful comment read, "It's honestly sad to see that the person the Smash Ultimate community vilifies puts more effort into investigating the problem within the community rather than the community itself." Technical's video had brought to light the fact that the information about Zach, Salem, and Samsora's misdeeds was readily available, yet no one had bothered to take action until then. The community's failure to address these issues was a major reason why the situation had escalated to such an extent. Ultimately, Technical's video helped to ensure that people like Salem and Samsora didn't escape accountability for their actions. Despite being indefinitely banned and having his name placed on the Smash Global Ban database, Samsora still occasionally competed in tournaments where he wasn't banned. However, it was clear that his actions had consequences, and his career would never be the same again. On April 3rd, 2021, Samsora made a final tweet before deactivating his Twitter account, indicating that he had no intention of trying to rectify his mistakes or take responsibility. Thanks to Technical's work, it was made clear that the Super Smash Bros. Community had a long way to go before it could come close to solving the mystery of the scandal and putting all pieces of the puzzle together. After the controversy surrounding Samsora and his eventual deactivation and banning, Technicals uploaded a follow-up video titled "My Video Got Samsora Banned." In this video, he begins by responding to some comments he received on his last upload about his use of the R word. Tech clarified that he himself suffers from a mental disability and believes that he has the right to reclaim said word. He forgave those who criticized him and then discussed the banning of Samsora. Tech questioned why Samsora's friends and fellow players, including pro smashers Lima and Tweak, did not speak up about his enabling of child predation.
But Technicals, what about Lima, Mistake, and Tweak? They all knew about it too. Are you gonna see something about it?
You really need a YouTuber to feed you opinions? Take a wild guess what I think.
He criticized those who defended their silence and called out MVD and esam once again, who claimed that they didn't speak out about the situation due to fear of losing followers and money.
I'm pretty sure parents would be elated to see that all the people their child looks up to are more worried about defending their silence on an issue of enabling child predators than actually condemning them. So, good play on that one. Nice. I also want to make a note that MVD went full mask off and said that the only reason he didn't like talking about these situations now was because he gets harassed and would lose followers and money. Don't even get me started on how Esam echoed this sentiment in his own twitlonger.
Tech also spent some time discussing his involvement in bringing Samsora's actions to light and his ability to control the public conversation regarding the events that occurred.
If you really think I'm gonna believe that the TOs weren't influenced at all by the release of my video, even after Samsora went entirely dark, and there's over 30 instances of my video and his replies and all over the internet, then you're full of shit. If your only explanation for not banning Samsora at the same time as Salem is that you were discussing anything but admitting to a crime, then you were wasting your time. If it truly is imperative to the case, then I challenge you to post that information and prove that you weren't just sitting around with your dick in your hand for months. And if it turns out it was some trivial bullshit, I'm roasting you. Since MVD and all these figureheads want to go full mask off, I thought it'd be appropriate for me to say a couple things. First off, do you really think I make these videos to help you? The same community that slanders me on a daily basis and went on an entire campaign to get my channel taken down? Fat fucking chance. It's called We Do a Little Trolling. I do it because one, I can. I mean, who else is gonna do it? The people too pussy to make a statement because they're gonna get fucking harassed and lose money? And two, because nothing makes me feel better than taking down a self-righteous asshole that thinks they're better than everyone else.
Oh my god! Technicals gets 1 W and it goes to his head.
Samsora? Gone. Esam also thought he could fuck with people's livelihoods and keep my name in his mouth. Guess what? Hey Esam, how does it feel not being a Nintendo ambassador anymore? The tweet I made calling out top players and leaders for being quiet wasn't because I actually give a shit. I controlled the conversation so dumbasses like MVD would rush a response, exposing himself without even realizing it. If you didn't notice after the Esam video, I've been making you react however I want because you can't help but respond to the boogeyman technicals. I have a permanent beachside condo set up in your backyard, and if you think I'm gonna stop because some 16-year-old furry that plays a party game doesn't like it, then you're probably a 16-year-old furry that plays a party game.
The video solidified Tech's stance and became an important piece of content for his viewers. In the midst of the Smash community's ongoing wave of sexual misconduct allegations, Anti, a former professional player, was accused of sexually assaulting several users. One woman alleged that Anti forced her to drink liquor despite her being underage and tried to make out with her, while others claimed that Anti had forcefully kissed or had sex with them. Anti responded to the accusations in a twitlonger, claiming that the girl who accused him of having sex with her when she was a teenager had lied about her age, and that many women in the community wanted to attack him since they had grudges against him. Anti later deleted the twitlonger in favor of speaking to a lawyer. Months later, on January 14th, 2021, Anti released a video apologizing for his inappropriate conduct in tournaments and how he handled the accusations in July. Anti maintained a statement that he did not know the girl's actual age, but apologized to her, stating that he should have done more to know her actual age, such as checking for her ID. On April 22nd, 2021, Technicals brought up the Anti case again in the abandoned case of Anti, examining the situation that ultimately resulted in Anti being dropped from his team, T1. The video also featured an interview with Anti himself, in which he continued to defend himself against the claims made against him. The video presented the complexity of the issue and the need for a nuanced approach when it came to looking at these cases. Technicals argued against the believe all victims mentality when it came to the Me Too movement, suggesting that personal accountability and the judicial system offer a better alternative when analyzing a case. The video also highlighted the psychological impact of posting multiple stories at once, which can make it difficult to discern the truth of a given situation. The video discussed other allegations against Anti, including claims that he tried to get women drunk and then forced them into having sex with him. The tweets and posts included in the video presented a range of opinions on the case, with some defending Anti and others criticizing him. One user, Princess Hyrule, took issue with Anti's alleged relationship with an underage fan and accused him of condoning the actions of other players who were also accused of sexual misconduct.
Y'all really gonna defend Anti with Florida law?
Yes. Are you genuinely asking if someone who was lied to is using the law to defend their innocence? I can't imagine how fucked convictions would be if this person was in charge. One day she'll be saying,
"She was a minor, he's an adult."
And the next she'll be defending a 22-year-old's relationship with a 17-year-old and quite literally laughing at the idea of being called a pedo excuser. Just a quick side note, not a lot of people call Mars's girlfriend Okami a child predator. I wonder why that is. I absolutely love how people will tell you that Twitter is not a court of law,
and then immediately in their next breath say that the law doesn't matter. What does that leave? Your feelings? Yeah, let's establish a court of feelings, because there's absolutely zero chance that could be worse than an official system of governing based off years of research.
Another professional Smash player, Mr. E, was interviewed about the case and his opinions on it. For context, Mr. E had previously defended Anti on Twitter, and as a result, faced massive amounts of backlash from the community and was subsequently dropped by his own sponsor. The interviews with Technicals featuring Anti and Mr. E are available to watch in full on Technicals' channel. The video emphasized the need to move away from the idea of heroes and villains when it came to these cases, and instead just focus on personal accountability and the judicial system when jumping to conclusions. At this point, it was undeniable that Detective Tech, despite his polarizing personality and numerous controversies, had a stranglehold on the Smash community. The misconduct allegations that surfaced in July of 2020 had left the community reeling, and with the COVID pandemic shutting down all in-person tournaments and events, things were already at an all-time low. The community had become increasingly toxic, with pointless arguments and heated debates erupting over inconsequential issues. Additionally, community members were taking serious incidents involving actual crimes committed by top players at face value, leading to constant spreading of misinformation regarding these cases. The community was in dire need of a savior. Some believed that Technicals could be that person, but others dismissed him as an attention seeker and a pot stirrer who targeted women online and profited off the community's pain and suffering. Regardless, it was clear that if you were a part of the Smash community, Technicals had mastered the art of stirring up debates and forcing the community to reconsider what they thought they knew to be true with each new video he released. However, this newfound attention would come to a head when Technicals released what both fans and critics alike hailed as his greatest video to date. As we continue to delve into the cases covered by Technicals, it becomes increasingly clear that they all follow a similar pattern. One such case, that of Sky Williams, takes us back once again to the tumultuous period of July 2020, when the Smash community was grappling with the deluge of misconduct allegations. Sky Williams, a former Smasher from San Jose, California, who was known for being a top Brawl player, had become embroiled in the controversy. Apart from his prowess as a gamer, Sky was also renowned for his comedic content on YouTube and Twitch, where he had amassed a massive following of over 850,000 subscribers and 250,000 followers respectively. However, it was his alleged involvement in the abuse of women and minors that led to his downfall. Multiple victims accused him of being complicit in several incidents of sexual abuse and assault that occurred in homes he used to house professional Smash players. These houses were often referred to as the Sky Houses or just the Sky House. It was claimed that Williams did not take adequate measures to protect the women and minors staying in his houses and was aware of the abuse. Furthermore, he was accused of manipulating guests in the houses, either sexually or financially, by forcefully demanding payments from them. Sky was also alleged to have borrowed over $300,000 from various individuals, with one person having allegedly given him $50,000 for a cancer surgery that supposedly never took place. Sky's response to the allegations was far from satisfactory though. On July 6th, he live-streamed to Twitch to discuss the accusations, but was criticized for not addressing the claims properly and for portraying himself as a victim.
So get a glass of water, she goes to her room, Jessica... Fuck! It's insane to judge someone's trauma and what it does to them. I made you feel like your actions towards your abuser in this case were wrong, but there isn't any right way to go about this. Your pain is on me completely, and while my words may feel empty, I am truly sorry that I have hurt you as much as I have, because I should have made the choice for you. I should have taken the action instead of leaving it up to you, because as a victim maybe you didn't know any better. The story typically would be tales of a drunk grope which was met with distaste, at which the interaction stopped. I didn't say anything.
The live stream ended abruptly when his roommate unplugged his router, an embarrassing failure on Sky's part. In a bid to address the allegations once more, Sky posted a 90-minute video to his YouTube channel on August 1st where he accepted responsibility for owning the property where abuse cases occurred. He regretted his decision to house so many people and acknowledged that he could not keep tabs on all of them. Sky denied any direct contribution to or condoning the incidents and claimed to have attempted to work with those involved to settle the situation privately. Despite the allegations and criticism, Sky remained determined to continue streaming until he paid off his debts. He also stated that he would leave the community if his presence was no longer required. This would change, however, on June 25th, 2021, when Technicals uploaded a video titled "The Truth Behind the Sky House," which aimed to debunk the allegations made against him by popular artist and community member Jacqueline Cho, more popularly known as Jisu. The video also featured an interview with Sky, who spoke about the difficulties he had faced in finding a job or therapy due to the allegations against him.
So, how have you been doing lately, Sky? I know you've been off of social media for a while. You haven't been posting to YouTube, but I have seen you stream a couple times.
I have not been doing well. I've just kind of been existing, but I wouldn't even call it that. Like, I know that sounds like really dramatic, but it actually is that bad, if that makes sense.
What do you mean by that? Like, not existing?
Every single part of my life is just is gone, and I can't resume a normal life because all the background checks I've tried, I've just failed them. When you put your name Sky Williams and you have such a huge gap of like work history, you want to explain, oh, I was an influencer, and then they're going to look you up. And then that's when you don't get the call back. I was fired from 3 therapists that like looked up what was going on and then was like, oh, actually, I don't think that I can help you, or I don't think we'd be a good fit. And it's like, I didn't know that you can get fired from a therapist.
I didn't either.
I would talk about the fact that I believe, since everyone else believes it, and even I've said it, even though Dr. K disavowed it, everyone believes that I'm this psychopath, that I'm a sociopath, that I'm this huge mass manipulator. And so if that's true, and I'm tricking myself, then maybe a therapist would be able to tell me. So then when they ask why they think I believe that, I have to go into some sort of detail about my life. And once I do, it's over.
Almost immediately, the community rallied behind Sky, with the hashtag apologize to Sky trending on Twitter and his streams garnering more viewership and donations. With the Sky House situation laid to rest, Technical's videos began to reach audiences beyond the Smash community, but most notably the YouTube commentary scene. Influential figures such as John Swan and Nicholas Deorio even helped Technicals in the production of The Truth Behind the Sky House. John made the cinematic intro sequence, while Deorio covered the section on finances. However, his section would later be cut out for reasons that will make sense later. Technical's appearance on episode 9 of the Half-Baked podcast, hosted by Turkey Tom, Lord Vega, and Nicholas Deorio, had already gained him some attention from the commentary community. However, it was The Truth Behind the Sky House that really put him on the map. In the aftermath of the video's release, Technicals was interviewed by Tommy C, where they discussed a range of topics, including Tech's political affiliations, his status as a controversial figure within Smash, past video subjects such as JK, Esam, and Captain Zack, as well as the future of his channel. But now would be a good time to let me introduce you to Zero. Gonzalo Raul Barrios Castro, popularly known as Zero, is a Chilean former professional Smash Bros. Player and YouTuber. He was a dominant force in the world of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, holding the record for the longest tournament winning streak in the game from November 2014 to October 2015, with 57 consecutive tournament victories, including super major events like EVO and the Big House. Before that, he was a top-ranked player in Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Project M, with Diddy Kong being his favorite character to play with. He is the only player to have earned over $100,000 playing Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. In January 2018, after years of dominating the competitive scene as the #1 ranked player, Zero announced his hiatus from the Smash competitive scene shortly after he was once again ranked first on the 4th edition of the Smash 4 PGR, citing a need for variation in his life and goals. He continued to be active in the Super Smash Bros. Community and streaming on his Twitch channel during this time. He returned to professional competition in November 2018, signing with the Tempo Storm esports team to compete in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and in 2019, Zero was signed to an exclusive streaming rights deal with Facebook. However, in July 2020, similarly to most of the players I've covered in this video so far, Zero was hit by the same wave of allegations that players and content creators like Sky Williams, Captain Zack, and Nairo were involved in. On July 2nd, Jisu tweeted about Zero, claiming that he showed her explicit Craigslist ads and hentai when she was only 15. Zero initially denied Jisu's claims, stating that although he did look at hentai, he never showed anything to her, nor would he show it to anyone else. This led to Jisu being accused of clout chasing, prompting several players like Leffen and IBDW to defend her. Leffen even shared his own experience with Zero showing hentai to people in public, which was supported by a screenshot from an anonymous user. Later, Lima would also come forward and accuse Zero of twisting the situation. At around the same time, an anonymous user who went by the name of Katie also accused Zero of sexually harassing and grooming her when she was just 14 and he was 19. Zero denied knowing her age at the time and claimed to have cut off contact with her as soon as he found out. However, evidence later emerged that seemed to indicate that Zero lied about this. Zero would go on to make a statement about the hentai allegations, citing his difficult childhood as the reason for his awkward response. He also announced that he was exo-communicating himself from the Smash community. Many pointed out that he had failed to address the most explicit accusation, but on July 4th, Zero made a final statement admitting to Katie's accusations, as well as an experience with another underage girl. Jisu also posted a Google document containing evidence and screenshots from all of Zero's victims, accusing him of lying about her, Katie, and the third girl's situation. As a result, Twitch permanently banned him on July 22nd, 2020, deleting his channel and videos. After the announcement, Zero's sponsors, which included Tempo Storm and Facebook, all severed their ties with him. When Tempo Storm's CEO was asked about the possibility of Zero rehabilitating himself and rejoining the team in the future, he responded cautiously, citing personal growth but also taking things one day at a time. On March 25th, 2021, Zero sadly attempted suicide and was sent to the hospital. His wife, Vanessa, posted a tweet about the incident, and the community responded with an outpouring of support for the couple and wishes for Zero's recovery despite his cancellation. A month later, Zero posted an update on Instagram expressing his guilt about what he had done. In an interview with content creator Visu, he revealed his history of mental health issues and talked about a motocross injury in the fall of 2020 that contributed to his suicide attempt. The interview, despite the community's previous well wishes for Zero's recovery, was met with negative reception due to Zero's presence, prompting Visu to take it down. However, it has since been re-uploaded by other YouTube channels. On November 16th, 2021, Technicals uploaded a follow-up video to the Sky House about the allegations made against Zero by Jisu. Titled, "What Really Happened to Zero?" the video featured an interview with Zero himself, who claimed that he did not remember anything that Leffen or Jisu had accused him of. He also stated that he had felt pressured to confess to the allegations, which created a false narrative that he was guilty of everything. The video received polarizing reactions from the community and even stirred a bit of controversy, with some praising Technicals for scrutinizing Jisu's allegations and bringing Zero's perspective on the situation to light, but others accused Technicals of manipulating the facts to build a narrative and platforming an accused predator on his channel. One particular aspect of the video that caused mixed reactions was when Technicals and Zero claimed that his initial admission of guilt was a suicide note, and that he had intended to take his own life after the allegations surfaced.
If you're an observant reader, you may have noticed the stark contrast of tone from his previous responses. That's because Zero wholeheartedly intended for this to be his suicide note, and had it not been for Vanessa, that may have well been the case. If it's not too personal, what stopped you from committing suicide after posting your final twit longer?
I was laying down. I think Vanessa was like holding me, right? I think at some point I looked at her and I was like, dead? Because at that point in time, when all that stuff was coming out, I remember I couldn't sleep for maybe like 2.5 days or something. And I remember I just looked at her and she was trying to stay up because she couldn't sleep, you know, but she was kind of like, she wanted to sleep. And this is not the type to stay up.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so scared of him going to the bathroom alone, him just being alone, because those moments for him were really difficult, and I cannot imagine how he felt as he was the one going through all of this.
I just felt so bad. I felt like I was putting her into this scenario. I looked at her and I just said, let me just go and end this. She was like, no, please, no. I remember she begged me not to do anything.
I felt like the world was crashing on us, and at that point, death felt nicer than, you know, what was going on. I had to witness the love of my life having his world crushed,
I wrote up the thing, and I was just sitting there for like 20 minutes just looking at the monitor. So the plan was that I was gonna upload it, and then I was just going to just cut myself, like, you know, with a knife that I had around. The main method I've always used has always been cutting. So yeah, that's just what I was thinking. I didn't have access to anything else at the time. I don't know what it was, but Vanessa kind of came into the room, and I remember she came to the office and she gave me like this very long hug. She was just telling me everything will be fine. I remember feeling like this warm because I felt really cold. She went downstairs. She made me my favorite food, which was like steak with mashed potatoes. It's a classic for me. She sat there and she was just like cutting the pieces herself and just feeding me, because I don't know, it's just, I was like a potato at that point. I don't know, it made me feel like this sense of peace that I didn't have at that point. I really do think that for some reason she wasn't in my life, or maybe she went to the store or something, I definitely would have died. I mean, I can't really explain it to you, but I don't really want to go through that ever again.
What changed between then and March of this year that prompted the sudden relapse? Because we saw a bunch of articles come out, and obviously Vanessa posted on Twitter that you were in the hospital after another suicide attempt.
There was like a month in January where I was like, I think I can fix this. I think this is workable. I have hope. We can do this, you know. And then in February, I feel like realism set, and then I was just like, you know, it's over. You know, there's nothing you can do. What I basically convinced myself was that I started slowly shifting my thoughts to, well, if I can't fix it in this life, maybe I can be Gonzalo too. I can die and then be reborn, and then I can try again. You know, honestly, looking back, I feel like I legitimately went insane. Now that I'm explaining it to you, it's embarrassing. It just sounds so stupid. I mean, I've always been kind of weak mentally, I think. Just the way I look at myself is very, very bad. Compounded with what happened, compounded with having pretty much no one at that point in my life, it just felt like I went crazy, and then, you know, I turned to the worst possible option.
Jisu and Leffen did not publicly address Technical's claims at the time of the upload. However, on the same day, Zero would upload a video retracting his previous confession and claiming that he made it under duress. He also announced his return to creating and uploading content the following day. A few days later, on November 19th, 2021, Zero filed a lawsuit against Jisu for defamation, claiming that she had lied about many things, particularly rumors about his relationship with his wife. He also accused her of falsely claiming that he was an abuser and that he tried to solicit a 14-year-old for nude pictures. The lawsuit sought an unknown amount in damages for defamation and emotional distress. The controversy surrounding Technical's video on Zero reached a fever pitch in December of 2021, with heated debate raging on Twitter and YouTube over whether or not Zero was truly guilty. The first 10 to 15 minutes of the video were generally well received, with the community seemingly agreeing that Jisu was a liar and mass manipulator who ruined people's lives with false allegations for praise and attention. Technicals had become a reliable source regarding cases within the Smash community, analyzing and dissecting them from an objective and legal standpoint. However, after the first quarter of the Zero video, people began to turn their heads. Many noticed that Technicals was constructing a narrative to piece his points together, seemingly leaving out important pieces of information. One example was Katie's twit longer, in which a significant portion was left out. People criticized Technical's points and accused him of using logical fallacies throughout the video to strengthen his arguments. They also questioned him for welcoming back Zero to content creation, but some misinterpreted this as Technicals advocating for Zero to be unbanned altogether, which was not true. Despite the massive impact of the Sky House and Zero videos, Technicals didn't take a break. He still had more to say and wanted to make himself heard. After being largely forgiven by the Super Smash Bros. Community, it appeared that some had changed their minds about Nairo's innocence after Technicals dropped a video about his case. For those who need a refresher, Nairo was one of the Smash figures banned by the community and Twitch following his relationship with Captain Zack being exposed. In the months that followed, Nairo attempted to clear his name, retracting his initial confession and claiming that he was actually a victim of rape and blackmail by Captain Zack. #unban Nairo trended on Twitter, and event organizers like 2G Gaming even lifted his ban. Despite this, Twitch kept his account terminated, making it so Nairo couldn't appear at tournaments due to the rule against banned streamers showing up on other live streams. On November 24th, fresh off the Zero video, Technicals turned his attention to Nairo. The video opens with Technicals addressing a significant point of criticism from his previous video concerning Zero. He quickly clarified that his remark, "Welcome back Zero," was not an endorsement of the player's return to the competitive scene, but rather a reference to his return to content creation. The rest of the video, entitled Ban Nairo, delves into Technical's efforts to prove that Nairo was not as innocent as he claimed. He presented screenshots as evidence that Nairo had publicly flirted with Captain Zack prior to their alleged encounter, hung out with him at events, and became jealous when the latter showed interest in other players. In support of his argument, Technical cited a TwitLonger post by pro player Tweak, which detailed how Nairo and Captain Zack had been flirting during CEO Dreamland. Tweak revealed that Nairo had begged him not to disclose their hookup due to fear that it would be exposed to the public. Tweak had tried to discourage Captain Zack from getting involved, but the knowledge weighed heavily on him. Technicals also pointed out that Nairo had claimed that Captain Zack had taken advantage of and raped him while he was asleep, but Tech argued that this was irrelevant since there was a second sexual encounter the following day while Nairo was fully awake and even agreed to the encounter. Despite Nairo's claims that he only agreed to this second sexual encounter with Zack to avoid being blackmailed, Technicals asserted that there were an infinite number of alternative decisions Nairo could have made to avoid having sex with a minor, but he still let it happen.
The strongest defense in Nairo's corner is that he was taken advantage of during his sleep. And because of the initial shock, he froze up as Zack snuck into his bed and began to perform unconsensual sexual acts on him. I'm not even going to bother arguing this, because I don't have to. On the very next day, when Nairo was entirely conscious, there was another instance of sexual activity. The defense is now that Nairo was blackmailed into doing this. I'm trying very hard to be reasonable right now. So let me describe what that situation would look like. After assaulting Nairo in his sleep, Zack then goes up to him the next day and says something along the lines of, "If you do not let me suck your dick, I will ruin your career." You're supposed to believe, according to Nairo's account, that he didn't know what was happening to him wasn't his fault until after he got canceled and got therapy. Honestly, I gotta give it up for the therapist, cause it must have been a pretty quick revelation for him to retain a criminal defense attorney within the same month. I find that very hard to believe, considering that 3 years prior, he had an angry outburst at Zack for attempting to blackmail him again a month later. And Nairo stated that he had had enough of being used. So just to recap, he said that he was blackmailed, said he didn't realize that what happened to him wasn't his fault until after he got therapy, but also was fed up with being blackmailed a month after the incident occurred. Keep in mind that this is what everyone is expecting you to believe, with no exceptions, all at the same time. There's not an infinite number of decisions that Nairo, as an adult, could have made in that moment. His only option, according to them, was to allow it to happen. According to Sam Sora, during Prime Saga 2019, he, Zack, and Nairo all agreed to a cover story in case this little secret ever got out. Nairo proceeded to then ask for my help and make sure the information about him and Zack never escaped. He wanted my help to talk to Tamim and Zack about the situation, and make sure they think that the situation was different from Ally and Zack. Zack was always on board with what Nairo was saying to cover the events up, and I just felt confused on what was happening. If we give Sam Sora's testimony any credence, given his shaky motivation, according to him, this would put Nairo as the one controlling the false narrative that would soon come out. Even though it's hard to believe a proven liar like Sam Sora, the second the allegations hit the timeline, we could see Nairo's plan being put into action as he and Zack immediately denied all allegations. From Tamim's TwitLonger, it stated that Nairo called Zack prior to this public denial, and a record of this call is provided. But this only lasted a matter of minutes before Zack would flip the script and come clean with his own TwitLonger, which is what forced an admission of guilt from Nairo. Which you, again, are supposed to believe was written by an entirely unnamed party. I don't know why this detail would matter in the first place, unless you're meant to believe that Nairo literally told someone else to draft up the most important document of his life without even reading it or approving it whatsoever. If you can believe that Nairo has done nothing wrong between the escalation through flirting, the blackmailed oral sex, covering up the story for 3 years, and denying the allegations until it was impossible to do so, then congratulations! Nairo is innocent. However, if you remove your tier 3 sub, your idolization and blind faith, then I'm sorry to break it to you, but Nairo is most definitely not in the clear here. Sorry, not sorry, but if you're ever provided an ultimatum by a child and you choose sex over the infinite amount of other options, then you have just displayed that you are incapable of making the right choices and should not be allowed to be in these scenarios any longer. I don't give a fuck about therapy or freezing up. this is not a debate. Don't you think that if his 30-page defense was actually foolproof, that after getting #1 trending worldwide, he would reach out to a Twitch representative and actually get his biggest platform back? Instead, he went to some underqualified tournament organizers and couldn't even get them to say that he's innocent on all charges. Incredible.
It was clear that Tech wanted to establish the fact that no matter which way the narrative was spun by either side, Nairo was not in the clear as the adult in the situation. Technicals then proceeded to list all of the players who campaigned for Nairo's Twitch account to be unbanned, including Void, AlphaRad, Hungrybox, esam, Mars, Wadi, Dabuzz, and MKLeo. He accused the Smash community of being scared of him and declared that if Nairo wasn't rebanned from Smash events by tournament organizers, he would burn the entire community to the ground.
There's plenty more where that came from, and I'm not afraid to keep the list going, no matter who you are. There are some prominent children, but it's not their fault. They just see all the people they admire and look up to all peddling the same propaganda that makes them comfortable to jump on board with. I will burn this entire community to the fucking ground. You think I give a shit? You know I don't give a shit, and that's why you're scared. But it's okay. I'll do all the hard work for you, and I won't even bat an eye when all your favorites are gone. Because to me, they're nothing more than an obstacle. A stranger, a line in a script, a new Wikipedia entry. It makes no difference to me. Partnering with Nintendo? You shouldn't be allowed to partner with the arcade down the street. I can imagine that a parent would look at this and be absolutely sick to their stomach. This is fucking disgusting, and I'm not gonna sit here while it happens right in front of me. Do you know what it's called when someone who has done something wrong is then defended by their friends with money and influence? Nepotism. This goes all the way to the top of the Smash Brothers hierarchy. Now I ask you, what makes this any different from an actual pedophile ring? I'm not joking. A man with significant power and money that was known to be flirting with a 15-year-old who had 2 instances of oral sex with a 15-year-old denies any wrongdoing on his part while legally burying the story and is then defended by the most elite members of the community. You all look so fucking stupid right now. And the only reason I gave you a warning in the first place was so I could avoid the embarrassment of being associated. The fact that you guys dislike me so much, to the point that you'll create an image of me that disagrees with you, is precisely why it's so easy to manipulate you into incriminating yourselves. You should really take a class in objective thought, because after the 5th time, it's starting to get really pathetic. If you do not ban Nairo from attending tournaments, I will do everything in my power to make you regret that decision. Because now that you know you're in the wrong, I have zero hesitation in individually calling out every single person that does not publicly disavow his attendance. This is your last and final warning. You guys got unbanned Nairo #1 trending worldwide. So here's a trend for you. Ban Nairo.
The Smash community was thrown into turmoil when Technical spoke out against Nairo. The community was deeply divided, with many calling for Nairo to be banned from YouTube and other platforms, while others continued to rally behind him, insisting that he deserved another chance. The situation was complicated by the fact that Zero had been accused of similar misconduct on a much smaller level, but had been banned and continually shunned by the community even after more details about his case were revealed later on. Technical's defense of Zero further fueled the controversy, leading some to question his motives and his judgment. Despite the controversy, many players continued to support Nairo, arguing that he was still very much a victim of blackmail and manipulation and should be in the clear. However, others believe that he should be held accountable for his actions without any excuses, just like Zero was. Technical's stance on the matter only added fuel to the fire, with many accusing him of being biased and lacking his previous objectivity that he was known for. This criticism came to a head when Swan released a video criticizing Technical's handling handling of the situation. In the video, Swan accused Technicals of leaving out important information and allowing his emotions to cloud his judgment. Swan's video also reopened accusations from July 2020 that both Technicals and his twin brother were involved in the sharing of explicit NSFW artwork and nude photos in a group chat from years prior that had several young teenagers in it. Swan highlighted that Technicals' ownership of the group chat, along with his brother's admission of guilt for his involvement, indicated that Technicals had a responsibility to ensure the chat remained appropriate, but had failed to do so.
This is in regards to the twitlonger about my brother. Yes, I was in the group chat. I was in every group chat because I was the leader at the time. I was the leader of the crew that we made, which was this gigantic chat group of people in high school, adults, all this other shit. Yes, I was in the group chat. And I made it very apparent at the time that if anyone had a problem with someone in the group chat, to come to me and we would resolve it. At the specific period they're referencing in the twitlonger, I remember this because me, along with everyone else, came to BJ and told him that was a really fucking stupid thing to do. Don't do something like that again, because we are in a group chat where, you know, it might be bad for other people. And even if he regretted those actions, back then, on Messenger, you couldn't delete messages, so the image was just stuck there. I also want to make it clear that he never went out of his way to personally DM, singularly, any of these people. Told him it was stupid, never to do it again, and guess what? He didn't do it again. No one came to me saying they were traumatized. Most people were just outraged because it was an outrageous thing to do, because that's how my brother is. He does fucking outrageous things, and then doesn't think out the consequences of his actions. And obviously that came to bite him in the butt here, because someone had receipts of him being outrageous. Also, during the time with the whole NSFW art portion of it, there was a lot of images being made without anyone's consent because it was a running joke. One of the running jokes in the chat that one of the minors drew that they thought was funny was my brother and another one of the members of the chat going at it. It was made in like MS Paint, so it looked like shit, and everyone thought it was funny. So I don't know, it's kind of surprising to me that that was also one of the things in the twitlonger, but I don't know. I was the leader, and no one came to me and told me that that made them uncomfortable or to remove someone from the chat for that, so I did what I could at the time, told them it was a bad move. I didn't condone any of that shit. I don't think guilty by association really counts in this because everyone realized it was shit, even BJ realized it was shit.
Furthermore, John criticized Technical's apparent failure to take responsibility for his mistakes and his unwavering stance as being disappointing. John Swan's video also questioned Technical's ability to be an impartial judge of who should and who should not be allowed back into the Smash community, raising concerns that due to the group chat allegations, as well as his Zero video, Technical's objectivity may be compromised. He encouraged his viewers to question Technical's videos from now on and his approach to sensitive cases like Zero. The video's overall message was that when dealing with sensitive issues, it is essential to not let emotions cloud one's judgment and to remain impartial in one's approach, and that it is equally important to take responsibility for one's actions and be accountable for them. In addition to John Swan's video, several other prominent creators in the commentary community spoke out against Technicals. augierfc, Nicholas Deorio, and Tommy C, all of whom had collaborated with Technicals in the past and had amicable relationships with him, engaged in public debates with him on various social media platforms. These debates can be found on YouTube and Twitter. Even Keemstar, the well-known drama YouTuber and host of Drama Alert, got involved in the beef, hosting a live debate session between Technicals and augierfc, which is still up on Keemstar's channel to this day. Technicals' video had opened up a Pandora's box of controversy, and the repercussions were felt far and wide within the Smash community and the commentary community. On the 28th of January 2022, Technicals finally decided to address the criticisms that had been leveled at him by some of his fellow YouTubers, including John Swan, Nicholas Deorio, Tommy C, and augierfc. In his response video titled The Commentary Double Standard, Technicals sought to call out the inconsistency within the commentary community when it came to their arguments regarding two high-profile grooming cases, the Zero case and the Zaptai case. To provide some context, Zero was accused of grooming a girl named Katie, who was 14 at the time while Zero was 19. On the other hand, Zaptai, a former Canadian commentary YouTuber, was accused of grooming a 14-year-old catfish who had claimed to be 16 at the time when he was 20. Despite the similarities between the cases, Technicals noted a clear double standard in how the commentary community treated each one. He found it extremely alarming and decided to call them out on their inconsistencies. In Zaptai's case, he was involved in a flirtatious relationship with a person he believed to be 16, but who was actually 14 years old and a catfish. He was accused of not only grooming her, but also planning a trip to the accuser's home state of Washington to have sex with her, where the legal age of consent is 16. When the initial allegations were exposed, accusations of pedophilia were thrown around, and Zaptai's reputation took a massive hit. He was labeled a sociopath and a pedophile by many in the community, including his own friends. However, once it was revealed that the accuser had been dishonest about what her age actually was, and that her lied age was legal in her home state of Washington, many commentary channels, including Nicholas Deorio and others mentioned earlier, sided with Zaptai and vehemently defended him until he eventually returned to YouTube under the alias Bigby. In his 45-minute video, Technicals thoroughly dissected and highlighted the hypocrisy that these creators had shown in their defense of Zaptai while attacking Zero. It is important to note that Technical's main objective was not to prove that Zaptai nor Zero were pedophiles or sociopaths, as he believed both were worthy of forgiveness and rehabilitation. Instead, his goal was to expose the commentary community's tendency to play favorites and spin narratives whenever it's convenient for them. Through his articulated and researched arguments, Technicals aimed to encourage the community to adopt a more consistent approach when it came to such sensitive issues. In the first segment of the video, Technicals discusses the previously mentioned debate between himself and augierfc hosted by Keemstar regarding the Zero case. Specifically, Tech highlighted Augie's belief that multi-year age gaps between adults and minors are acceptable as long as it's in the context of a high school relationship. Technicals found this argument confusing and contradictory since Augie had previously criticized almost the exact same type of age gap in the context of the Zero case.
Now that we've established that, let's go over the redemption arc and the arguments made in Zaptai's defense. Before we go over the specifics, we need to know exactly who we're dealing with here. One of the major proponents of Zaptai's comeback is a creator known as Augustus. Augustus often covers philosophy on his channel, and one of his working theories is that as long as the two are in high school, an 18-year-old dating a 15-year-old is fine.
In the context of a high school relationship, yes, 18 to 15 is fine. And in this specific context, a 3-year age gap is totally fucking fine in a high school relationship.
He would later coin this the high school context theory. I, being a scholar myself, thought this was weird as fuck.
A senior dating a freshman is something that, on its own face value, I don't necessarily have an issue with.
I think that's weird as fuck.
That's creepy.
Okay.
But maybe there was something I was missing, so I hit the streets in desperate search of his acolytes to see if anyone could enlighten me.
Tech then went on to conduct street interviews to highlight the public perception of such relationships and argued that people should be judged based on their actions rather than the context in which those actions occur. Another topic addressed in the video is the argument put forth by creators such as Nicholas Deorio and Tommy C, who argued that Zaptai did not solicit lewd pictures from his accuser and that the accuser had previously posted suggestive photos of herself publicly on social media. Technicals argued that the fact that the photos were publicly available did not excuse Zaptai's behavior and cited the DOS test, a 6-factor guideline used to determine whether imagery constitutes child pornography. Technicals pointed out that nudity is not a necessary factor for an image to be considered CP, and cited the official government website of Canada, Zaptai's home country, which dually defined CP as any visual representation or written material that advocates or counsels sexual activity with a person under the age of 18. Technical's video also addressed the commonly used defense for Zaptai's case, being that the age gap between him and his accuser was legal, as the latter was 16 at the time of their relationship, which is legal in her home state of Washington. However, Technicals argued that even though the age gap was legal, it was still morally wrong and incredibly weird. He pointed out that their legality argument in defense of Zaptai would only be valid if everything was legal, which wasn't the case. He argued that even if Zaptai was assumed innocent of any federal CP charges, he was still guilty of violating Washington's law on communication with a minor for immoral purposes, which would have required him to register as a sex offender. Technicals also added that if the communication was electronic, which was the case with Zaptai, then it would have been considered a Class C felony, resulting in a fine of up to $10,000 or up to 5 years in prison. He emphasized that the suggestive text messages alone between Zaptai and his accuser were enough to convict him of a crime despite the legal age gap. Technicals then brought up the case of MiniLad, a YouTuber with almost 5 million subscribers who was similarly involved in accusations regarding explicit messages with a minor. Technicals noted that creators like Tipster, Deorio, and Tommy C actively condemn and attack MiniLad for essentially doing the exact same thing that Zaptai did with the exact same age gap, except MiniLad only sent explicit photos to his victim, while Zaptai not only received explicit photos from his, but also planned to fly out to Washington to have sex with her. Technicals pointed out the hypocrisy of these creators who attack MiniLad but defend Zaptai despite their almost identical cases, with Zaptai's being arguably worse. In a later section, Technicals revealed that members of his Discord server had made an obviously fake leak to see if commentary channels like augierfc would take the bait, and as expected, both him and Tipster immediately fell for it. He used this as an example to back his point that these commentary channels often comment first and research later, likely because they know that if they waited to know and understand what they were talking about, nobody would care. In the final segment of Technical's video, he delivered a compelling rebuttal to John Swan's video and his accusations against him. He condemned John for cherry-picking legal definitions in his video and twisting Technical's words to strengthen his argument. Moreover, Tech disputed John's claim that he was emotionally manipulating his viewers by including Zero's suicide attempt story in his video, asserting that the information came directly from Zero and his wife and served as important context regarding Zero's initial confession. Tech then proceeded to address John's critique of his exclusion of a majority of Katie's twit longer, along with his comment that the information revealed by Katie about Zero was disgusting. Tech also highlighted the contradiction in John's video by pointing out his disclaimer in the beginning stating that the video was just an opinion piece and that all parties involved were innocent until proven guilty. Despite that, John went on to directly claim multiple times that Zero was guilty, which Tech found to be hypocritical.
But what if the person he was defending was actually guilty?
What the fuck happened to innocent until proven guilty? Where did that go? That went out the window real quick.
In addition, he accused John of having conflicting opinions and shifting stances to take the moral high ground, demonstrating his unreliability. Furthermore, Tech devoted a section of the video to John's accusations against him in his brother's group chat. He clarified the misinformation and false statements that John made about the case, revealing John's dishonesty to spin things against him and make him look like a creep.
Hold on. So you're telling me that Technicals at the age of 19 was the leader of a group chat where minors were sending nudes and lewd images of themselves and he did absolutely nothing to stop them?
Wrong. Wrong on all accounts. It's interesting that the people that are so adamant about false allegations and knowing everything about it before pushing them is perfectly fine doing it to others whenever it fits their needs. You know that Twitter video you keep referencing where I said I owned all the group chats? I was in the group chat. I was in every group chat because I was the leader. Technically, I didn't even own the chat because after I looked back at the logs, I had been kicked multiple times, but that's irrelevant. That was made before minor sending nudes was even an accusation because the person who made the twit longer on my brother about how the art made him so uncomfortable was in that side chat talking about sex and sending images that neither me nor my brother was involved in. Any evidence that exists or that you can find would show that I neither condoned nor contributed to any of the activity you're accusing me of. So unless you want to provide more than a paper-thin argument and a fucked timeline, I'd appreciate it if you actually research before throwing accusations into your hit pieces, because this is just sloppy. Your excuse is that no one had access to this information.
This is just downright dishonest. These messages he's showing on screen were only made public by Technicals after the release of my video. How could I talk about them or address them in any way if no one had access to them?
I'm sure you'd love to use Nicholas Deorio as an excuse for not doing your due diligence when that was related to him DM leaking during a Twitter argument, which has nothing to do with you at all. Also, I have no fucking clue who Edgar's Degradations is, and I don't care. Me and you have worked together, we have a professionally established connection, and you know that you could have talked to me at any point, yet you decided not to. Forget the lying to all your friends, forget lying to Dream. I think this really speaks to your character more than anything.
In the end, Tech made it clear that he no longer had any sort of intention of working or collaborating with the creators he called out, despite his previous professional establishment with them. He reiterated his belief that the commentary community was filled with hypocrites who switched sides and changed stances based on their own personal benefit. As stated earlier, Tech's intention was not to accuse Zaptai or MiniLad of pedophilia, as explained earlier, but rather to prove that the commentary community was in fact full of shit. Tech was unwilling to back down to anyone who tried to call him out, and this was demonstrated by his his unyielding dedication to speaking out on the issues he believed in. His activism was already evident through his videos, but it was just a matter of time before he took things to the next level. Double Down 2022 was a major event for the Super Smash Bros. Community, which took place in Las Vegas, Nevada from July 8th to July 10th, 2022 at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. The event featured tournaments for Super Smash Bros. Melee and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and was postponed multiple times due to the coronavirus pandemic. Aside from the main tournaments, various side events were also held during Double Down 2022, including a Rock Paper Scissors tournament, a Mario Party Superstars minigames bracket, Rivals of Aether brackets, and a Super Mario 64 16-star speedrun contest. As expected, one of the most controversial incidents at the event involved technicals. 2 years after the July 2020 misconduct allegations, technicals attended Double Down 2022 as a spectator with a sign that read "Ban Nairo" throughout the tournament. The sign was in reference to technical's stance on the Nairo case, in which he vehemently advocated for his ban from events by the community and tournament organizers. After being barred from re-entry during the second day of the event, Technical snuck back into the venue on the third day of the event, disguised as a woman. Then, during the grand finals of the Ultimate Tournament and during Proto Banham's celebration of winning first place, Technicals pulled up his sign in front of the cameras live streaming the event and the audience. This action led to massive amounts of backlash and confusion from many in the Smash community, especially considering that Technicals had previously been added to the global ban database. Technicals' action of protest led to him being escorted out of the venue by tournament staff, and his display of the sign was later censored in a VOD rediffusion of the grand finals set. Nairo himself reacted to the incident on a live stream, playing down the severity of his own situation, and instead jokingly insulted Technicals for protesting against him.
Anytime he's off stage, but he says, you know what, let me give you a break and tap that ass on stage, the pop-off to boot, and he is your Double Down 2022
My biggest
champion.
fan! Look, it's my biggest fan!
Ultimate. And that young man is probably going to get a score.
My biggest fan!
Literally no
good job to Frodo.
Like you just evaporated off the screen.
That was crazy.
GG's and yes,
that
man
was
is
crazy.
getting escorted.
He almost
GG's.
3-stock green for Leo.
Interestingly, a little over a month after the incident occurred, the Smash Global Ban database was discontinued entirely by its main operator, Cact. In a document posted to Twitter, Cact cited the burden of maintaining the GBD on his personal life and mental health as the main reasons for discontinuing the project. While the GBD was originally intended to be a centralized location for tournament organizers to reference bans made in the community, it had become too difficult for Cact to handle, especially given the large scale of the Smash community and its banned players. On September 9th, 2022, the long-awaited conclusion to the Zero lawsuit finally arrived. After returning to making content, Zero announced that he would be taking legal action against Jisu for defamation, determined to clear his name. Both parties eventually released a joint statement on the same day, calling for an end to the online harassment that had been going on for far too long. Zero himself then posted a video to his channel, his first in over 5 months, in which he discussed the joint statement and announced that the lawsuit had finally reached its end. He requested that the online community respect both parties' wishes and seize any harassment based on the events at the Sky House and their respective social media statements. After months of litigation and both parties presenting their evidence, they had come to an understanding of their shortcomings. Zero regretted his role in Jisu's experience at the Sky House and his exacerbation of the situation in online discussions. Jisu understood that the statements she made about Zero's wife were inaccurate and apologized for any harm caused, and had since retracted them, as well as her initial allegations against Zero. Both parties had agreed to resolve the litigation and move forward from it, acknowledging the need to avoid wasting further time, resources, and emotional energy. Zero mentioned that he planned to appeal his Twitch ban and reiterated that he had no intention of unretiring from competitive Smash. He accused the community of having an inconsistent bias and disregarding the law in its handling of these cases. He also claimed that higher-ups in the community had never liked him and had been trying to stop him from producing content for a long time. They allegedly had been coercing other players and content creators not to collaborate with him or even acknowledge him, threatening to ban them from Smash events or lose their sponsors if they did. According to Zero, one of his close friends had actually lost their sponsor after the organization caught wind that they had previously played Valorant Valorant with Zero off stream.
Now, I'm aware that despite all of this, there's always going to be a group of people that will never think this is enough. Furthermore, I believe that the higher-ups in the Smash community never truly liked me. But even before the allegations, I didn't really want to attend events anymore since I retired. But I really just did not want to show up to events anymore. I never really felt welcome, to be honest. But today, I definitely could not bring myself to attend them again, right? Even if I was able to. So I don't realistically think the bridge there can be really repaired. However, one really harmful thing that's been going on is that since they cannot stop me from making content, what they instead do is that they prevent other people to make content with me. What they do is that if you make content with me or appear in my content or play with me or acknowledge me in some capacity, they threaten some of those players to be banned, or they'll let their sponsors know, so then their sponsors will potentially drop them, so then they have to fall in line. Matter of fact, a close friend of mine had their sponsor drop them because they played a game of Valorant off stream with me. I just want you to think about that for a second. I think it is insane that they will go as far as that while still allowing other controversial figures in the community have anybody be able to collab with them or work with them in any capacity, and there is nothing that happens to those guesses, to those people collabing with those controversial figures. In my opinion, there's just a very clear case of bias. And I think it is shameful that a community with such a poor track record and consistent bias and unfairness in the cases they have handled can still play the role of executioner and jury regardless of what the law says. And I think at this point it's just harassment.
Finally, Zero accused Leffen of being the biggest instigator in the allegations made against him in July of 2020. He claimed that Leffen had lied about a story regarding him sharing hentai with Japanese players at Apex 2013, with testimony from those players denying Leffen's claim. He also pointed out how Leffen had publicized an accusation of Zero exchanging hentai with fans without verifying their age, only for the accuser to retract their accusation and clarify that they were not a minor after Zero spoke to them. Zero accused Leffen of exploiting the situation for his own benefit and tarnishing his name with videos he made during the allegations, profiting off of the situation. Zero's return video was a big moment for his fans who had been waiting for his response to the lawsuit. The video was well received on YouTube with an overwhelmingly positive like to dislike ratio. However, on Twitter, the reactions were polarizing, with many still refusing to forgive Zero for his past actions. Despite this, Zero's message was clear. Both he and Jisu wanted to put an end to the harassment and move on from the events that had transpired. They requested that their audience cease harassing each other and that any content creators referencing the event respect both parties' wishes. Days after Zero's update, Technicals released his own video to address his own involvement in the lawsuit. He revealed that the document at the center of the lawsuit, consisting of Jisu's allegations against Zero, had been permanently deleted by Jisu herself. Technicals also shared that he had recently been forced to make his Zero video private due to threat of Jisu's lawyers countersuing him if the case went to trial. He further commented on Jisu's behavior, noting that she acted like a martyr despite having the funds to continue the legal battle. Technicals also clarified that he did not sign anything related to the lawsuit and was not legally bound to take any action, but still had decided to take down the video out of respect for both parties' wishes to move on from it all.
The lawsuit is over. Most of you have probably by now seen Zero's video talking about the resolution between him and Jisu, and after fighting this specific document for the better part of a year on behalf of both Sky and Zero, it has now permanently been deleted. Every news article, every Reddit thread, every reply that now references this document will show up as being permanently deleted by Jisu herself. I honestly never thought that would happen, so I'm understandably a little bit excited, but I need to explain why I privated the Zero video. Between the back and forth of Zero and Jisu's lawyers, I was made aware that the thing she wanted to take care of the most was my video. Specifically, threatening to countersue me if this were to go to trial. I know that this is a bullshit, frivolous claim if it were to happen, but the thing about a lawsuit is it doesn't really matter because no matter what, I'm gonna have to pay for that shit out of pocket. The whole purpose of that video was to fight the defamation and claims in this document. So the fact that she would permanently delete it if that video just came down, it's been up for 9 months, the information's already out there, and now it's getting double the use because if I take it down, per her request, she will delete the document it was talking about in the first place. Zero's now moving on. He looks like a buff Chad. He looks like someone I want to take a bite out of. And Jisu has also made a tweet longer where she is moving on. And if you look at both of their statements, it looks like they're not allowed to say anything disparaging about each other, which is fine. That makes sense if they're moving on and they've settled. What doesn't make sense is how Jisu acts like this martyr who's been, fucked over by the justice system, and she ran out of money, even though she could just sell another picture for $10,000 to $20,000 on OpenSea. Yet she still somehow has the funds, or at least funds enough, to bluff a countersuit, suing someone else while being sued yourself. Just thought I'd point that out. While I may have privated the Zero video, I didn't sign shit, okay? And because I didn't sign shit, I am not legally bound to do anything. In fact, I can say whatever I want about Jisu of my own free will. I could say she's a lying bitch. I could say El Bozo, rest in piss. I could say she's the Candyman. I could say she's a narcissist with a victim complex. I could say she's Juice WRLD. I could say hold the L and Fortnite dance on her. But I'm not gonna do that out of respect for Zero and their wish to move on. Because that would be petty. That would be childish of me. Now let's go through my list of fuck you, I told you so. Sammy Carreri, IBDW, and of course, as we all know, Leffen. He's still provided no testimony or nothing to prove this story, yet he signed it over for a legal case, which I don't get. You really should be more careful when signing things under threat of perjury. That's a crime. I don't know if they have that in the EU. I don't know if someone translated that to him. It's a little bit different from a twitlonger, Leffen. There's also Hugs, who spent $1,250 on this lawsuit.
Wait, so is he calling me a simp or not?
Only for her to give up after saying in her GoFundMe that she would fight this to the end, and she would set a new precedent for victims and prove that no matter how much money or how popular someone is, they will not just win. There's this one guy that gave her $1,000. He's a finance manager. Probably should have considered that investment, huh? That is where we are with that.
Although Technical's video once again received mixed reactions, he shared the same message of closure and moving on as Zero. It seemed that both Zero and Jisu had finally put the past behind them, admitted to their mistakes, and looked forward to the future. However, Technicals was not done with the controversy just yet. On October 31st, 2022, Technicals released a groundbreaking video titled Exposing the Corruption in the Smash Community. The video addressed the controversy surrounding the global ban database and the Double Down incident, delving into several events that had not been widely discussed. The video aimed to prove that corruption still existed within the upper echelons of the Smash community, and Technical's primary argument centered around CACT and the GBD, which had been dissolved for over 2 months by that point. While CACT maintained that the GBD was only a suggestion list for players who he and other tournament organizers believed should be banned, Technicals argued that CAC's status as a major tournament organizer made it highly likely that he would enforce the database onto others. He also pointed out that Nairo remained unbanned by the GBD, despite Technicals and others consistently advocating for his reban due to his past relations with Captain Zack and the subsequent cover-up. Technicals himself had been banned from certain regions, but Nairo had not. He also criticized VGBC co-founders Gimmer and Apostle for claiming that they had no direct involvement with Nairo, despite indirectly allowing him to restream VGBC events without permission. VG Bootcamp, abbreviated as VGBC, is a premier Super Smash Bros. Live stream and media production team that regularly hosts and sponsors Smash events both small and large scale. Technical's confrontation with Gimmer and Apostle at Double Down while being kicked out of the event was secretly recorded and subsequently included in his video. The clip ended with Apostle taking Tech's ban Nairo sign and him being escorted out of the venue.
It doesn't matter. We banned you from the event.
Okay.
It means you can't.
I'm leaving. I'm banned anyways. What are you gonna do? Ban me again?
What you just did, dude. You want to get a reaction. It's like really lame, man.
It's called trespassing.
Okay.
You know that you're not allowed to do that. You can't pretend you didn't acknowledge it.
Okay.
I mean, like, look what you did to get in here.
There was no security when I walked in anyways. I look good.
You don't understand how hard you're throwing this fucking event. You
can say whatever.
Well, I got banned after day 2 for no reason, so.
You can say whatever you want, but the truth is like, you're not going to get an immature reaction out of us. Because you know you shouldn't be here. You know we have the right to tell you not to enter our event.
Are you done?
You have nothing to say for yourself.
What do I need to say?
Well, I mean, time.
Nairo is less banned than me for making YouTube video jokes.
Do you see how fucked that is? Do you see how weird that is? That dude had oral sex with a 15-year-old, and you're using that list to enforce a ban.
I get what you're saying.
It's just bullshit. That Nairo is not banned. He's like actively restreaming your guys' tournaments, and I know you're probably giving him the consent to do it. Like, I've not heard one legit argument that makes sense for why someone who committed statutory rape should be allowed back in the community.
You're just making a bunch of unsubstantiated.
How is it unsubstantiated? That's based off his statement.
I'm saying what you're saying.
Can you just come do there one time real quick?
Yeah, but you guys give him consent to restream your stuff, right?
You're saying we did.
Do you
that.
or do you
just
not?
Said we did that.
Do you or do you not?
Did you not just say we did that?
I'm not.
2 sentences ago.
I'm not accusing you, but are you giving him consent to restream your stuff?
This is my problem.
Are you giving him consent to restream your stuff?
You don't
talk to him at all? That's not like an arrangement?
We're not part of it. Me and Matt, we run our tournaments. Do the best we can.
Well, not banning Nairo plus that.
Can you get the sign back?
No, he took my sign. Yeah, I was leaving. They were talking to me. Alright. Through his video, Technicals aimed to demonstrate that corruption still persisted within Smash even after the dissolution of the GBD. Tech's video sparked significant discussion within the community as many were eager to engage with the arguments he presented. Although some agreed that his video highlighted important issues that needed to be addressed within the community, many disagreed with Tech's approach in regards to his activism and attempted to once again dispute his argument against Nairo. On November 17th, 2022, VGBC released a statement on Twitter directly addressed to Tech titled "Regarding Harassment in the Community and Addressing Technicals." The joint statement was released by Gamer and Apostle, in which they addressed the drama at hand. The co-founders emphasized that all accusations should be based on credible evidence and that they would not tolerate threats or harassment towards their team. Regarding their stance on Nairo, Gamer and Apostle stated that they never unbanned him from VGBC events despite his name being removed from the GBD, and that any decision to do so in the future would be announced officially. They also clarified that VGBC has exclusivity with Twitch and that Nairo was never given explicit permission to restream their events. Regarding the incident involving Technicals at Double Down, Gamer and Apostle claimed that Technicals was already trespassing and had been banned from the event the day before. They asserted that Technicals' claims and accusations about VGBC were baseless and that engaging in an argument with him would have only validated his behavior. They also asserted that Tech's claims that VGBC condoned pedophilia were false, defamatory, and slanderous, leading the two co-founders to block him on multiple social media accounts. On December 1st, Technicals posted a response video to VGBC's statement regarding the drama. He began by providing his fans with an update on the Twitter discussions and events surrounding the situation. He then addressed comments made by community members who supported Nairo and debunked their arguments in favor of him. He went on to criticize VGBC's statement, accusing Gamer and Apostle of emotionally manipulating readers to believe that they were victims of harassment when they weren't. Technicals found it strange that VGBC never reached out to him privately to ask questions about the matter before posting their statement. He suspected that their response was disingenuous and only posted to save face after getting ratioed on Twitter. Tech also criticized VGBC for not clarifying that Nairo was already banned during their confrontation at Double Down. He believed that if they did, he would have left and the drama would have ended from there. VGBC's claim that Nairo was never given permission to restream their events was also addressed in Tech's video, as he provided evidence showing a clip in which Nairo explained his process of asking for permission to restream events, alongside multiple VODs of Nairo, ironically enough, restreaming VGBC events.
Can we get more watch party streams? Yeah, you know, I guess I should explain, like, I watched it off stream. I just wasn't sure if I was, like, able to even stream it, like, off the side, but then I knew I was able to, without showing the actual stream. But I will try to get permission from, like, other TOs and stuff, if they are okay with it. If they are not okay with it, and they want, like, everyone to go to their stream, that's completely fine. I'm not gonna, like, fight it or anything like that, obviously.
True. This is a gamer event, so everything is a slingshot. When somebody SDs, it's a slingshot SD.
Gimmer also said he doesn't talk to Nairo at all. You don't talk to him at all? So unless he misspoke and wants to clarify there,
He's also never asked Nairo to stop restreaming his events. But I'm sure that's just another pot stir, QAnon, 9/11, Tiananmen Square, 1989, Watergate, MK Ultra, Sissy Hypno activation baseless claim though, so let's go ahead and continue.
Technicals suspected that VGBC was still allowing Nairo to restream their events without direct permission, despite not giving other streamers the same leeway. He also criticized VGBC for their lack of security at Double Down. Despite Gimmer and Apostle emphasizing that he was already banned from the event, Technicals rebutted that there were no metal detectors, no bag checks, and no surveillance at the front gate of the event. He pointed out that smaller, low-budget events like Rise and Grind had better security than VGBC's larger events, and questioned why the company was deflecting all blame despite their lack of security, which resulted in Technicals being able to sneak back into the event in the first place. To this day, Technicals' presence can still be felt on both YouTube and Twitter. With a subscriber count of nearly 97,000 and regular uploads on investigations into the Smash community and its figureheads, he remains a polarizing figure in both the Smash and commentary communities. Despite the controversies that surround him, he seems to have embraced his role as the big bad villain of Smash, and his platform continues to grow. His detractors may have done everything in their power to try and silence and ban him, but this has only attracted more and more attention to his content and his small but vocal community. While Technical's earlier content established him as a credible source for investigations into the community's most interesting cases, it was his later content on the Skyhouse, Zero, and Nairo that truly shook the Smash and commentary communities, and even the internet at large. Many see him as an egotistical, self-centered, clout-chasing maniac who profits from the downfall of the Smash community's leaders and wants nothing but to see it all burn to the ground. Meanwhile, others view him as the misunderstood savior that the community needed all along, exposing the blatant corruption within the community's higher-ups and the real truth behind countless of the community's deepest, most darkest cases. Regardless of whether one likes or hates Technicals, he has undoubtedly left a lasting impact on the internet. He split the entire community in half multiple times and incited mass discussion and debate over many of the biggest controversies within Smash. Despite his edgy and controversial nature, his legacy will remain influential and continue to shape the community, regardless of whether it is positive or negative. As he approaches 100k subs, it is clear that this is only the beginning for Technicals. How he and his fan base will continue to grow from here remains a mystery, but there are already many lessons to be learned from his story. Technicals has proven to be by far the most divisive, the most polarizing, and the most debated creator in all of Smash, leaving a legacy that will undoubtedly be remembered for years to come. This has been the story of Technicals, and I am Kusari. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Hi everyone, it's me. I just wanted to say once again, thank you so much for watching if you made it to this point. Honestly, just making this video took a lot longer than I expected. I know it's been about a month since the last channel upload. I'm sorry it took so long. You know, making these projects, it does take a lot of time, effort, editing, and research. So yeah, I apologize for the wait on this one. But yeah, the main documentary is over. So if you just want to click off of this, you know, you can go ahead and do that. But yeah, I just wanted to say a few things before I leave. I just wanted to make one correction on one thing that I did get wrong in the video. I know I corrected a few other miswordings and mistakes and stuff with like text overlays in the video. But yeah, there are a few sections where I said, oh, you know, this was Technical's most viewed video, this video blew up, blah, 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 blah. A lot of Technical's old content actually didn't blow up until like months after they were uploaded. The success that Technical's received on the second esam video, lowtiergod, you know, all that stuff, it brought a lot of attention to his channel, and a lot of his videos blew up after he had gotten a lot of traffic to his channel. So no, a few of his videos, they didn't just blow up right away. It did take time, but yeah, it still doesn't change the fact that, you know, a lot of those videos are like some of the most viewed on his channel. So I think the point still stands, but I do think it is important for me to make that distinction. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, I think it's time to do a little plugging. If you want to check me out on some other social media platforms, I am very active on Twitter. If you want to see what I'm up to, you know, what my next videos are going to be about, my opinions on a bunch of stuff, you can go ahead and follow my Twitter at twitter.com/kusaribruh. Also, I know I said this earlier in the video, video. I'm pretty sure it's one of the first things that I said, but there is a high likelihood that this video is going to be demonetized. So if you wish to financially support me or my content, you know, you like the videos, you want to, you know, help a brother out, you can go ahead and subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/kusarilol. I think it's a great way for you to get involved with me and my content. You get early access to all my uploads, and you get to have your name in the credits of every video. Or you can just send a quick super thanks donation. I don't mean to sound e-beggy or anything, but you know, I feel like I deserve a little credit, you know what I mean? Please don't say I'm e-begging. I'm not e-begging, I promise. Every creator plugs their Patreon. Anyways, I reached out to Technicals after production of the video finished. I was gonna have him record a little segment for the very end of the video, but we both decided that that would kind of, you know, it would kind of ruin the objectivity of it all. So what we decided is that we're probably gonna have an interview later on, and it will be uploaded to this channel. As for when that will be, I don't know, but expect it pretty soon. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Actually, no, one more thing. Thank you all so much for the support. The Daniel Larson video is about to hit 300k views, and that's honestly insane. It's just been non-stop positive comments, and I truly do appreciate every single one of you guys. Also, we hit 5k subs. That's insane. Thank you all so much. You know, we already on the road to 10k, bro. Quintuple digits. Let's do it, baby. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Sorry. If you like the video, give it a like. If you dislike the video, give it a dislike. And if you have something to say, don't be afraid to leave a comment. I'm all ears. If you have any criticisms or if you have anything that you'd like to add, definitely leave a comment. It really helps. Or you can just mention me on Twitter or send me a DM. If you want to see more uploads from myself, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, this has been How Technicals Broke the Smash Community. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.